Sports Done Wright is proudly sponsored by Revival Acquisitions, reviving Jacksonville one home at a time. They offer fast closings, cash offers, easy listings, and coming soon, custom homes. Hello and welcome to Sports Done Wright. I'm your host, Chandler Wright, and with me today is my co-host, Joey.
Hey, yes. What is up, people of America and anywhere else watching this stream?
I'm pretty sure right now it's just America.
Just America. What?
Probably exclusively Florida.
Exclusively Florida?
At the moment.
I got some PA people that'll watch this for sure.
But this is episode 1, so probably mostly just family and friends in Florida. Well, and Georgia and Tennessee. I would hope you guys are watching too.
There you go.
But yeah, finally getting started with Sports Done Right. For those of you who don't know, my name is Hunter Wright, host of the show. I was a former writer for Sportskeeda for a while. I really enjoyed that job. I haven't written in a while, but I wanted to get back into covering sports.
Thus, Sports Done Right.
Yes. And he is here because this did not go over well when I tried to record by myself. The first attempt at recording this show was an unmitigated disaster.
I know. I get it.
I didn't even go into detail, and I told you nothing, and you're already like, I know.
But I know, because if you just talking to yourself...
I'm sure you bombed, man.
Oh, I would have bombed too if I was by myself. I need more energy, somebody across from me to talk to,
Yes, because I did take after take after take after take. Hated all of them. Hated it with a passion. I listened to all of them back, and I was thinking, where the hell did Anchorman voice come from? What is that? What am I doing? Is that a Western accent? Why am I talking like that?
Stay classy, San Diego.
I don't even want to know what that accent was. Delete off. Delete everything. It all must go. I need help.
Yeah, right.
Originally, I was just gonna have you sit in the corner over there,
just shouting from afar.
Saying nothing. I was just gonna pay you to sit in the corner just so I had someone else in the room with me while I was doing this. Then I thought, if I let him be on camera, I probably won't have to pay him.
There you go.
Then I can pay JEA.
Pay JEA, okay. Yeah. I mean, hey, I'm A-okay being on the camera and interchanging my thoughts with you.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. So without any further ado, we're going to get right into the news, and we're going to start off with the offseason, the NFL offseason, preseason, all the way up to week 1 in the NFL. So the NFL has made a lot of changes to the way they run things because of the global pandemic. Mm-hmm. One of which, they highly recommend you get vaccinated.
It's more than highly recommend.
They want all the players vaccinated. They're not forcing anybody to get vaccinations, but I'm pretty sure if Goodell could... I think if Goodell could go door to door to all the players and coaches in the league...
word out of Jaguar camp was, vaccinations were taken into whether or not you were cut. So if you didn't want to get vaccinated, you needed to... It was more like hey, get vaccinated if you want to kind of a thing. But
we'll get into why here in just a second, because there are serious consequences for teams who don't have a certain number of vaccinated players. But I do think that if Goodell could round up a task force and go door to door to every player and coach's mansion, hold them down and forcefully inject the vaccine.
They would.
I mean, obviously, that's not going to happen. No. That's inhumane. Yeah. And also, you try holding down J.J. Watt.
Jesus. Imagine.
Or Aaron Donald.
Yeah. Oh, Aaron Donald eat you alive. Tear you in half.
How about Mekhi Becton?
Well, he got hurt, so it might be easier to get him now. But before the injury, yeah, it would have been pretty tough.
Oh, yeah, he's hurt now, so just swipe the crutch away from underneath him.
Yeah, you just kick it.
But a healthy Mekhi Becton, that dude...
6'7", 380.
He's the guy you hire. He's the guy you hire to play the role of bouncer at a club in a movie. That's Mekhi Becton.
Or actually get him to be the bouncer of your club in real life. He could do both. He's that big.
That's what when he was drafted, I said he looks like a bouncer.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think he was going to be that good, honestly. I mean,
you're that big. When you're that big, your body is already doing half the work for you as an offensive lineman.
But he was so agile coming out of the combine. That's where I was like, all right.
He was surprisingly agile.
You sold me on that.
But the new rules of the NFL regarding COVID-19, if a game cannot be rescheduled during the 18-week regular season because a certain number of players are infected with the virus, then it will be forfeited by the team that has the most infected players. Wow. So they're not gonna extend the season. They already extended the regular season from 16 to 17 games. I have very mixed feelings about that. But they're not going to extend it past that.
No.
They're not adding an extra 2 or 3 bye weeks to get some COVID relief games. They're not going to do that. If you can't play, you're going to forfeit.
You're going to hold one of these. A big fat L.
What would Pete Rozelle say about this, Roger? Honestly.
Pete Rozelle would be pretty... He's turning in his grave.
Yes. But that's the reality. So we might see forfeited games. And that would be an absolute tragedy.
Yeah. Now, do those players still get paid for that game that they forfeit?
No, that's right. That is the second. That is second on the list here. All players will not be paid for the missed game. The team with the outbreak will pay for any financial losses.
Woo! I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, any financial losses Hey, we flew our team all the way from the West Coast over to the East Coast to play this game. Y'all got a pandemic. Yeah. We didn't have the pandemic. We're healthy. We flew over here.
Yeah.
You're paying for that flight, and you're paying for our flight back.
Jesus.
You're paying for the tickets.
Yeah, I was about to say.
You're paying for everything.
Yeah.
Like I said, Goodell can't force anybody to get vaccinated, but he can do everything in his power to
pretty much
make you want to. No one. This is a free country. Nobody's making you do anything you don't want to do. But we can make it to where you're not going to want to rebel or...
No, of course not. I mean, if you're starting to take away my money that you give to your family, my kids, my whatever, I'm probably going to go get vaccinated, because the chances are, even if I'm the one that doesn't get vaccinated.
Like we're threatening your money, we're threatening your teammates' money, the team's money, everybody's money.
Yeah, and once you start taking bread, it's no joke.
And some players, some players will sit there and say, you know what? I've been in the league 10 years. I got some pretty good savings because I was one of the players that was responsible with all the money I made on my contracts. So you take the money away from me, no big deal. Okay, what about the other 52 men on that active roster?
Yeah. And I mean, even those guys...
You're going to be taking money away from them. What are they going to say when you're taking money out of their pockets because you wouldn't play ball with Goodell?
Exactly. And I mean, there's those players that obviously, they have their endorsements, they have money outside of football. But I mean, do you remember there was Jadon Mickens, who's currently on Tampa Bay? He was sleeping in his car. He was sleeping in his car when he was here with the Jags on the practice squad. And you're going to and he doesn't have endorsements. Nope. So if, let's say, Tom Brady doesn't want to get vaccinated...
He doesn't have a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, I mean, hey, so does Fournette. But let's say...
But then again, so does Blaine Gabbert.
But say he doesn't want to get vaccinated, and then Tampa Bay now has to forfeit. Tom Brady's fine. He's got 7 rings.
Brady will be fine.
He can forfeit a game. But Jadon Mickens?
Well, I wouldn't say Brady will be fine. That will eat him alive deep inside his core. Financially, he will be fine. Yeah. Mentally... That might be the key to getting him out of the league, actually. Mentally, he'll be a mess if he has to have a game forfeited because he's just the most stubborn, competitive human being on the face of the earth.
He's the Michael Jordan of football.
He wants to play till he's 50, and I believe he will play till he's 50.
That'd be cool.
No.
I'd love that.
You want another 10 years of Tom Brady?
I don't think he's going to win a Super Bowl anymore. I really don't.
We said that when he left New England.
I mean, but look at the weapons he got. I knew they were going to win a Super Bowl.
No, Tom Brady. All Tom Brady has to do now. Tom Brady just picks up the phone, starts recruiting like he's LeBron James.
If you
you want Hey, you want to win a Super Bowl? Hey, J.J. Watt, you want to win a Super Bowl?
Yes, I do.
Sign a JJ, sign a 1-year deal with us.
Sign the veteran minimum, come win a ring, and improve your legacy. Done. They don't care about money
Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald. You want to get a ring real quick? Oh, you still got plenty of time left, but hey, you want to get a ring real quick? Just surefire. Let's do it. Come sign with us, man. You came close a couple times. I ain't gonna lie.
Everybody wants to play with the greatest.
He can recruit like LeBron James. I've never seen a football player recruit in the NFL like LeBron James can in the NBA.
We didn't see it in the NBA until LeBron James started.
Brady's good. Brady will play until he's 50 because he has nothing else.
Yeah, I think he might be a masochist. I think he loves pain. And then until he finds something,
it's not pain.
He's getting hit around, bonked around.
Have you seen Tom Brady when he gets hit?
Yeah, he gets pretty angry.
No, he loves competitiveness. He loves to compete. That's what it is.
Yeah,
he wants to compete. It's like, I've got 4 rings, but so does Montana, so I need to get another one. Gets that 5th ring. Well, who's got more than 5 rings? Only one other person, Charles Haley, 6. Okay, I gotta get 6, and then 7.
He's got more Super Bowl rings than any single franchise has in their entire existence.
It's like he's gonna have the passing yards record, the passing touchdowns record. It's like, Brady, you've done it all. Okay, what else has never been done? I mean, nobody's played into their 50s. That's next on the list.
I love it. I love that kind of competitive drive. I mean, listen, I'm tired of seeing Brady win. I am. I think everybody is. But at the same time, you can't sit here and say you don't admire the greatness.
Oh, no, I respect Tom. I don't like Tom Brady.
Okay.
But I respect Tom Brady.
He is a bit of a crybaby.
I respect the hell out of Tom Brady because what he's doing is just unprecedented. But like, there's going to be generations and generations of fans who are not going to know what it's like to watch the Super Bowl without Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
I mean, there was a generation of kids that didn't know what it was like without Michael Jordan. I mean, kids today, how many times in a row was it LeBron James versus Steph Curry? I think it was like 4 or something years in a row where it was Cavs, Warriors, Cavs, Warriors, Cavs, Warriors. And I mean, it's just we're living in a time now where there's so many athletes that are the greatest of their time. LeBron in basketball. You have Tom Brady in the NFL. Baseball, we have Mike Trout, or even, Shohei Ohtani's balling out right now. I mean, there's so many sports now where records are constantly getting broken and athletes are continuously getting better.
Single season records in the NFL are going to fall with this new 17-game schedule.
Oh, that's for sure. For sure.
No, Brady has nothing else. He doesn't know what else to do. Have you ever heard Tom Brady talk?
No, I don't care to listen to him talk.
I've listened to him talk. He sounds the way actors do in sitcoms when they're lying and they're obviously lying, and the audience can tell that they're lying, but for whatever reason, the other characters in the show don't realize that they're lying.
Yeah.
They're always, what are you talking about? No, you see, he doesn't stutter like that, but it's just the forced, unnatural. Like, if it's not X's and O's, you sound so unnatural.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He's got nothing outside of football. I honestly feel like he's going to keep playing until he's 50 because he won't know what to do when he retires. Peyton Manning retired. He had all these business ventures that he went on. When Tom Brady retires, it's going to be, what do I do now?
You don't think he might go into like... I'm
going to coach my son's football team.
You don't think he'll go into like management or something?
I'm sure he probably will, but I'm just saying, like, Peyton got right into acting and commercials and.
Well, now he has his own inside the mind of Manning, where he like breaks down film and like he talk. That's really cool. I love that kind of thing.
Now, getting off of this massive Tom Brady tangent.
Sorry. Yeah.
We were talking about the COVID regulations.
Yes.
Teams must have a certain percentage of vaccinated players I believe it's 85% of players must be vaccinated.
I thought it was like 90 or something, but yeah, 85.
85.
Right.
Currently, 93.5% of players are vaccinated.
That's more than I thought.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you're threatening your money, your teammates' money, the coach's money, everybody's money.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, think about it. If you're a fringe playoff team and then you have to forfeit a game.
I don't want to cost Aaron Donald money.
No. No. No, he probably doesn't.
Well, Aaron Donald's a very nice person.
Aaron Donald could miss a check.
Vontez Perfect. I don't think he's in the league anymore, but I don't want to cost him money.
I don't care about Vontez Perfect.
No, I say he's a physically imposing human who clearly has no regard for anybody's safety.
Clearly has some screws loose, is what he clearly has.
That dude's so I don't want to cost him money.
No.
He does enough of that himself. 50% of all his earnings goes into paying fines.
I was about to say, he takes his own money away from himself.
One of the biggest rebels, one of the biggest anti-vaxxers, anti-maskers in the league.
God. Cole Beasley. Yeah, there he is.
You guessed it.
Cole Beasley. You know he raps? He's like Bee Sting, I think his rap name is. He's not that bad.
We're going to pretend I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he's a rapper, dude. He's dropped like music and stuff. But yeah, no. Heavy anti-vaxxer.
So Cole Beasley has unquestionably been the biggest anti-vaxxer, anti-masker in the entire NFL.
Yeah.
He's not the only one that's against it.
Definitely the most outspoken.
He's the most outspoken, for sure. DeAndre Hopkins said when the rules came out, DeAndre Hopkins said, "Oh, might have to retire then. Thought I had another 5, 6, 7 years left in me, but might be time to go."
And guess what he's doing now?
He's playing. Imagine
in the NFL.
Imagine what a kick in the pants that would be to Cardinal fans. Like, we just lost Larry Fitzgerald, but hey, we just got DeAndre Hopkins. Yes.
Retires.
What? No.
Damn you, COVID. Too soon.
To be a Cardinal fan is to know pain.
To be a Jaguar fan is to know pain. Don't get me started about the Cardinals.
Cardinals, Jaguars, Lions, Browns are the four most
Yeah, I mean, look, those
pitiful.
Teams, the Cardinals now with Kyler Murray.
They have Kyler Murray now, yes.
The Browns, Baker Mayfield, that defense is scary. Nick Chubb led the NFL in rushing last year. Like they're on the rise.
Yes.
The Lions are a cesspool of talent.
You gave away your franchise player.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't just give him away. You got 2 first-round draft picks. We'll get into that later. But DeAndre Hopkins was a player who came out and spoke about not wanting to get vaccinated. And another one was Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
He flat out said, or, counter proposal, you build a plexiglass wall around me during team meetings.
Kirk Cousins is a dummy. I hate Kirk Cousins. You know how you don't like Tom Brady? I hate Kirk Cousins. He's a subpar quarterback that gets treated like a top 10 quarterback. He's garbage. He
is a glorified journeyman.
Yeah, I hate him.
And it pains me to say this because I actually like Kirk Cousins, but he is a glorified journeyman.
He just reminds me of Case Keenum. Like, they're the same person to me. Same style, same way of playing. They're not going to wow you with their arm strength. They're not going to wow you with it. They're just going to stand in the pocket and make a throw and let their playmakers
Cousins
play.
finessed his way to a giant contract with the Vikings, and it has yielded one playoff game. Not a win, a game. But Cole Beasley...
Oh, wait. Wasn't he the quarterback for the Miracle of Minneapolis? Or was that Case Keenum?
That was Keenum.
Yeah, Kirk, you're trash.
And then after that, they dumped Keenum. He goes to Denver. They signed Kirk Cousins to this massive contract, made him one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. And they have gone to the playoffs one time since then. They lost. And I actually thought that the Vikings had a good chance of making the Super Bowl that year. Didn't happen.
No.
But I thought they had a good chance at it. Because they were hot. And that's what the playoffs are all about. It's not always the best team.
Yeah.
It's whoever gets hot.
Oh, yeah.
Whoever gets hot and has that momentum towards the end of the season.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we saw the Giants do it with Tom Coughlin for years. You know, they would sneak into the playoffs. Boom! Get hot at the right time.
Yeah. But Beasley has come out and said, I'll get vaccinated and be an advocate for it if Pfizer.
Moderne.
Puts a percentage of its earnings from the vaccine in my wife's name.
What?
He said, yeah, I'll support it if you give all the money you make off the vaccine. If you give it all to my wife, I'll support it. So basically, you know, when it snows in hell, that's when I will support it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Darius Butler called the NFL dead wrong for its vaccine rules. And in response to that, Jerry Hughes, who is a teammate of Bill Beasley. Beasley is a wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills. Jerry Hughes is a defensive end for the Buffalo Bills. Jerry Hughes replied, so the top scientists in the entire world got together to figure out how to combat COVID-19. And when they come up with a vaccine, you question them? They are trying to save lives and you have doubt? Well, Mr. Hughes, I was a terrible science student. But, isn't that what science is? Questioning things?
Yes. I mean, that's how you start the scientific method. It
would be unscientific. It would be unscientific not to question the vaccine. And it's not like anybody's doubting the capability and intentions of the scientists. Nobody's doubting that. My whole thing is, I think they came up with the vaccine too quickly. That's my honest opinion. I know we were all saying, hey, hurry up and make this cure so we can go back to the way things were, but...
Yes. And now
we were just saying that.
Now they did it, and you're like, oh, well, you know what? That's a little too fast, actually. Like, what? No, that's
I don't trust it. We don't have a cure for so many things, yet we whip this up in a year. We don't know the long-term side effects of it. I just don't question it. It's like...
Who would we have had to test it on for how long? And then you would have been like, okay.
I would give it 5 years before I'd think about it.
5 years?
Yeah.
That's
okay, two or three.
2 or 3. Okay, that's better.
Let me see what happens to the guinea pigs first.
Now, how do we decide who's a guinea pig and what? If they say, okay, I want to get vaccinated, they qualify as a guinea pig?
The ones that are putting complete blind faith. Like, I'm not saying if you get the vaccine, you're a guinea pig. But the people who are just right away, I have no further questions. Thank you, God.
Sign me up.
Sign me up. You want to know what's in it? No, I trust you 100%.
Just jab me, bro. Jab me. It's one of those things. I mean...
Now, if you have some questions, well, before I do this, answer these questions for me. Okay, yeah, I'll get it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying anything bad about you.
No, exactly.
It's just the ones that... Okay, now who?
Yeah.
You don't even know the question yet.
Me.
I don't have to know it. I am in. Okay?
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I feel like, everybody has the choice to do what they want to do, right? And if you don't want to get vaccinated, that's on you. But you also have to understand that there's rules that have been in place that you're going to have to suffer from. You can't have it one way and expect things to just continue to go your way. So in Cole's point, he doesn't want to get vaccinated, fine. But if you're the reason your team forfeits, don't point at anybody other than you, because you knew these rules were in place.
And Cole's justification has been a lot of what I just said, and a lot of Like, I'm just not going to do it. I am my own man. I am my own person. You're not going to force me to do anything I don't want to do. I'm going to go continue to live my life the way I did before all this became a problem.
Yep, as he should. He should have that choice.
And while I do admit it does come off as sounding a bit ignorant, like it is a free country.
Yeah.
He is well within his rights.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's not going to be well received, but
now if you're an owner or a coach or management somewhere,
and like I said, that was Jerry Hughes, his own teammate.
Yeah.
So there's been some infighting going on in that organization. Just people like, Cole, come on, brother, play ball. I am playing ball.
Now,
that's not what I meant, and you know it.
Now, do you consider this a distraction? Because they did go out and lose week 1 to the Steelers.
I think it is a distraction. I don't think you're going to be able to sit here and blame losses on that. Okay. It'll be a distraction in the sense of you guys aren't gelling well. Beasley plays offense and Hughes plays defense. They don't really, for all intents and purposes, they don't have to coalesce that much.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're in the locker room, you know.
Now, obviously, you want good chemistry in the locker room. You don't want any teammates being at each other's throats. Now, if Jerry Hughes were a quarterback, and Beasley was saying this, and Hughes was like, "Okay,"
one of those players would be shipped out.
It's like, you ain't getting this ball.
Yeah.
Then that would be a much bigger deal. But I don't think you can blame your loss against the Steelers. Look, you just got beat.
Yeah.
Now,
but I mean, if you look on paper, who's the better team? The Bills. The Bills are a much better team on paper.
I don't think they put it all together in that first week.
No.
But if I had to choose either one of these teams to make a deep playoff run, I'm going to pick the Bills.
Oh yeah, I'm going with the Bills. The Bills were my pick to make it out of the AFC this year.
Now, if Cole Beasley does get COVID, then obviously this becomes a much bigger problem than it already was. Like, see, there, your biggest naysayer, anti-vaxxer, anti-masker hero just got it. And let's say, for whatever reason, maybe he passes it on to the other receivers in the locker room.
Yeah, let's say Diggs gets it.
Yeah.
The last person on that offense.
That's a huge problem. The Bills have to forfeit games.
Yeah.
That's a worst case scenario for Beasley.
Mm-hmm.
And Buffalo in general.
Yeah.
And remember last year when Denver's entire quarterback room got it.
And then didn't they sign like a wide receiver off someone else's practice squad?
All their quarterbacks were infected with COVID.
Yep.
The NFL refused to reschedule a game, which I think was wrong. They don't have a quarterback. Like, they don't have anybody to play the single most important position in the sport. They don't have anybody. Yeah, not my problem.
I mean, that's just...
Roger Goodell's calling Elway like, better dust off that helmet on your desk.
Oh, God, imagine Elway going out there and busting in the helicopter.
John, you still got it?
The game's changed, John. You don't have to run that much.
Yeah. Just go out there. This one's for Keenum.
God, imagine John Elway suiting up one more time. That would be a train wreck.
No. Just get that out of my mind. No. I don't want to see Elway. I don't like John Elway.
No.
I just don't like him. It is personal reasons. I don't like the way that he carries himself. Like, his feet don't touch the ground.
Yeah.
Like, he hovers, and he just keeps shuffling through quarterbacks in Denver. Like, every time he gets a quarterback, it's like, nope, you're not me.
Yeah, and then he put all his eggs.
Nobody's going to be you, John.
Well, it's not even that. It's just like he's also missed on his quarterbacks. I'm not convinced.
He's missed on a lot of them.
I'm not convinced Drew Lock is going to be the guy that leads Denver. I'm not. Sure as hell ain't Teddy Bridgewater.
Yep.
Last year would have been the perfect year, and you know what? I said if Justin Fields made it to Denver, they'd be so set. If you look at that offense, Noah Fant, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Hamler, He's a beast too. Your running backs, you have Melvin Gordon. They drafted a running back this year too. I mean,
I do like Denver's pick of Patrick Surtain though. It was a good pick.
Yeah, I mean that defense did need a little up.
You went out and got Champ Bailey reincarnated.
Well, let's not say that yet.
I don't have to say that. I think Champ Bailey himself said that. Either Champ Bailey said that, or somebody within the organization who knew Champ Bailey said he looks exactly like Champ Bailey out there on the field. Now, Denver had to play without a quarterback. They signed a receiver off the practice squad named
Kendall Hinton. What was it? It was something like that.
Kendall Hinton.
Is that who it was?
Who finished the game with negative passing yards.
He was a receiver.
I could have done that.
Hey, that week I had more passing yards than Kendall Hinton. Oh man! All right, we're flaming him. Let's make sure he's actually doing something good with his life before we just start doing.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
You're right. His jersey's in the Hall of Fame. He's not in the Hall of Fame.
His
equipment is in the Hall of Fame.
I think his quarterback wristband or something that he wore during that game was sent to the Hall of Fame, which I am entirely against. Like, yes, what he did was very commendable. It was a very difficult thing to step in and do. Like, your number got called. You stepped up.
He had a couple days to learn the playbook.
He had a couple days to learn the playbook.
Yeah.
You hadn't played this position since you were a kid.
Yeah.
Like, I commend your efforts, but the Hall of Fame is not for effort.
Passing yards, no.
The Hall of Fame is for results.
Agreed.
Not effort. But still, massive props to him for trying.
Yeah, 100%.
But during the offseason, there were a lot of new contracts handed out. For example, a lot of big money. For example, Fred Warner, San Francisco's star linebacker.
Fred Pop Warner, baby. That dude's a beast, man.
He is one of the best young defensive players in the league. Yeah. And over the offseason, he signed a 5-year, $95 million with $40.5 million guaranteed dollar contract. Yeah.
God.
Now, the 24-year-old linebacker has had surprisingly just one Pro Bowl season. I'm going to chalk that up to the fact that he's not really a stats guy.
No, but I mean,
But you can't judge. He's a player that you cannot judge based on a stat sheet. He's not going to rack up interceptions, fumble sacks, all that. He's going to get a ton of tackles, and he's going to make you turn on the tape. You're going to be all eyes on number 54.
I mean, there's a reason he's got that Captain C on his chest or on his shoulder blade. I mean, he's all over the football field. He's like a heat-seeking missile. If you actually watch the film, he's crazy. But I mean, you also have to understand that even in his own division, there's Bobby Wagner.
Yes.
There's so many other great linebackers. I mean, I know a lot of people consider Jamal Charles a defensive back or a safety, but that man's a linebacker. They use him in stuff in the box and blitz in the quarterback. Jamal Adams.
Oh, all right.
My bad.
Jamal Charles was a running back for the Chiefs.
No, I'm talking about Jamal Adams.
Like 10 years ago.
He's just he's listed as a DB, but in my opinion, that man's a linebacker.
We'll get to Jamal Adams. Yeah. But Warner was ranked number 21 on the NFL Network's Top 100, which, for those of you who don't know, it's a list of the top 100 players in the league. It is voted on strictly by NFL players. Yeah. There's no reporters, no columnists, journalists, analysts. It's only active players voting on who's the best in the league. Fred Warner ranked number 21 on that list, the highest he has ranked in his short career. And in 3 seasons, he has topped 100 tackles every year. That's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Mm-mm. And this contract made Fred Warner the highest paid linebacker in the league. And nobody was happier for Fred Warner than Darius Leonard. Because Darius knew after Fred Warner signed that contract to become the highest paid linebacker in the league,
He's going to top
He's
that.
about to become the highest paid linebacker in the league.
Oh, yeah.
Leonard said, 100%. Good for you, Fred. Get that bag. Get your bread. Irsay, you see that?
Yeah.
That's what I want.
That's what the top people at this position are getting paid. I'm definitely one of the top people at this position. Yeah.
Leonard was next in line for a huge contract. So Darius Leonard, and it was like days or a week later, signs a 5-year, $99.25 million.
Take that, Fred.
$0.25 million. They had to add that $0.25 million.
Oh, they have to. You have to.
With $52 million guaranteed.
52 guaranteed.
$52 million guaranteed.
Jesus.
Darius Leonard has been in the league the same length of time that Fred Warner has. He's a year older than Warner. 25 years old. His contract says he's the best linebacker in the NFL. I wouldn't argue it, really, to be perfectly honest. I'm a Jaguar fan. We play the Colts twice a year. I know how good Darius Leonard is.
That man flies around the football. He reminds me of
his nickname is Maniac.
Yeah, he reminds me of like a stronger Telvin Smith. He's so fast. He's running around. He's making tackles.
He's a bigger, stronger Telvin Smith.
Yeah, he can chase down your receivers.
Before Telvin Smith fell off the face of the earth. Go on.
Well, he had a problem with young women, so. You know.
I was going to leave it at fell off the face of the earth.
I'm not.
I was going to leave it there.
I'm not.
I wasn't going in. I was not going to go into detail. But Leonard can rush the passer. He can help in run support. He can drop back in the coverage. He can cover receivers, tight ends, running backs. Get back there and cover up that quarterback.
When the Jags drafted Kayvon Chaisson, I envisioned us grabbing a Darius Leonard. Granted, Kayvon has not given us that kind of production yet.
I thought it was Kayvon.
Kayvon? I thought it was Kayvon. I don't know. It sounds better when you say Kayvon Chaisson. It kind of rhymes. But however you want to... Chaisson. There you go. Chaisson. I mean, the ability...
That Bayou boy.
Yeah, the ability to drop back and to cover, receivers in the slot or running backs running on the wing, and then the ability to rush the passer. He can defend the tight ends. He's a chess piece.
And in my personal opinion, I think linebacker is...
quarterback of the defense.
It is the quarterback of the defense. It is the most important position on the defense.
Agreed. I mean, he's the one that sets people up. He tells them everybody where to go. They look at offensive linemen shifting and all that stuff, and they have to call it out.
Yeah. Now, Leonard has made it to 2 Pro Bowls. Once again, just one-upping Fred Warner. That one-upping is going to continue. It's not going to stop there. He has had 120 tackles or more every year.
God.
He had 163 tackles as a rookie.
Do you remember where he got drafted out of? It was some no-name school, right?
It was a small school.
It was a little school, but I mean he was a second-round pick, and I was shocked. I was like, who the heck is this guy?
Shit, if you had asked me yesterday, I could have answered that question.
Yeah.
But now that we're already in the middle of the show, I've got so many other things on my brain right now. It's like, oh no, I can't think of that right now. But when you're done,
Carolina State or something like that.
But when you're done recording, and you've edited everything, and this video goes up, you will wake up the next day knowing the answer to that question.
You just wake up in the middle of your sleep.
That is how the brain works.
So Carolina State. I don't think that's where it went, but it was like some little school like that. But I was shocked when they took him. I was like, who the heck?
And I will scream it at the top of my lungs. I'll wake up like, Blank University was his alma mater.
There you go.
I will wake up out of a dead sleep.
You're just moving boxes
I know
at UPS.
the answers.
University.
Yes. But he has more tackles, sacks, forced fumbles recovered, and interceptions than Fred Warner.
Jeez. Yeah, he deserved that extra money.
So when we say he knew he was gonna get a bigger contract than Fred,
he knew.
He knew. He was. Now the next in line, a player you just brought up a minute ago.
Jamal.
Probably a few minutes ago. Jamal Adams.
Not Charles.
Not Charles. No. Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams signed a 4-year, $70 million contract with $38 million guaranteed to stay in Seattle. Seattle, a year ago, traded 2 first-round draft picks to the Jets for Jamal Adams in a contract year. So if they were not able to hash out a new contract and Jamal Adams would have left after that 1 year in Seattle, giving up those 2 first-rounders looks
foolish.
In my opinion, it still is.
For a safety, yeah, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. But I mean, look what the Rams gave up for Jalen Ramsey. They gave up 2 firsts and like a third or something crazy like that.
We don't say that name in this house.
Sorry.
Still too soon.
Here's my thoughts on Ramsey.
We're not
even gonna get in on.
We're talking about Jamal Adams.
Okay.
Jamal Adams is the man that got paid.
Yes, and you know what? He got
paid big time, $70 million.
I was gonna say he got the short end of the stick there. I mean, he got paid safety money because he's listed as a safety.
He's the highest. This contract makes him the highest paid safety in the NFL.
He's not a safety. He's a linebacker.
And that is
linebacker money.
That is the point I was about to make. I don't think he needs to. I don't think either he should not be the highest paid safety in the league, or
who would you? Because he's not a safety, or you think there's a better safety?
Because I think he needs to be playing he needs to be playing linebacker.
I agree.
He does.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Like Jamal Adams is an anomaly, really. Because
he's
not good in pass coverage. That's a big thing. Like if I'm gonna make somebody the highest paid safety,
you need a ball hawk.
Forget safety for a second.
Defensive back.
I'm just saying, if I'm going to make you the highest paid player at your position, I expect you to be able to do everything that your position requires.
Yeah.
Everything it entails.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be a one-trick pony.
No. I mean, hey, he's great at getting to the quarterback. I think
he is great at getting.
He's already top 3 all-time in defensive back sacks.
Jamal Adams... He is a sure tackler.
Yeah.
He is great in run support.
Mm-hmm.
He is great in blitzing the quarterback. He has 21.5 career sacks. That is the most among active safeties.
Mm-hmm. You know what position you just described?
Outside linebacker.
Outside linebacker. That's
what I would make him.
Yeah.
I would make him an outside linebacker, or I could make him a middle linebacker in a 3-4.
Yeah.
As long as the other middle linebacker is a bit bigger.
Yeah. I mean,
I could make him I would make Jamal Adams a 3-4 middle linebacker or a 4-3 outside linebacker.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, kudos to the front office in Seattle. They knew that they could pay him safety money and eventually just scheme him into linebacker.
I still would have traded 2 first-round draft picks for him.
Heck no. But now the interesting thing is, let's see what the Jets do with those picks. Now, didn't they just have did they have their last pick last time? Last year was their first one of 2 picks, right?
I believe so.
And what did they get?
Who did the Jets draft in the first round?
I can look it up real quick.
I mean, I know that they had. Obviously, they drafted BYU quarterback Zach Wilson, but that was with the first round pick that they already had.
Yeah, for just being trash in general.
So we're actually going to look that up real quick.
I am going to look that up real quick.
And we're back. Joey, take it away.
All right. So, for Jamal Adams, the Jets went and drafted with the 14th overall pick, Elijah Vera Tucker, guard out of USC. And you know what?
That's good.
That's a good pick.
Get your franchise quarterback and then get somebody to protect him.
Yes, and he was the kind of offensive lineman that you could put a guard, you could put a tackle, you can move him all the way down the line. And he was one of the more NFL-ready prospects, I believe. Now, if you look at that line, you have Mekhi Becton.
That's good. You pair him up with Mekhi Becton.
And now that line is looking
so big.
That line is looking really decent. Really decent. You need a couple more. I think if you get 3 really good, like top half tier offensive linemen, your line is already top 5 to 10 in the NFL. You know, if you get 3 great you look at the Colts, you look at the Patriots.
It's just a couple more puzzle pieces.
Exactly. And I mean, Elijah Vera Tucker was a great pick. I think they did a great job using that pick. Now,
so shocking. The Jets didn't waste the first round pick.
They did something right? What? Now, granted...
And they drafted a quarterback that's actually going to be good?
Well, are you on the Zach Wilson hype train? Wait a second. Are you on the hype train?
How many Jets quarterbacks over the last 50 years can you name?
You really want to try me? All right, let's go.
Yeah, sure. Off the top of your head.
All right, Chad Pennington. We have Sam Darnold. We have Mark Sanchez. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Who else? Oh, this is terrible. This is terrible. Hold up.
And that's why I'm just leaning back in my chair.
Oh, my God. That's awful. Oh, my God.
Ken O'Brien. Richard Todd. Richard Todd's going way, way back. That was Joe Namath's immediate successor.
I didn't know we were going all time.
I am.
Chad Henne was a quarterback for the Jets at one point. Pennington.
It was Chad Pennington.
Henne didn't ever play for the Jets?
No. Henne played for the Dolphins and the Jaguars. And I believe he was a third or fourth stringer in Kansas City for a while.
He did go to the Chiefs.
Rocking that Hulk Hogan mustache.
Yep. Mark Sanchez led them to back-to-back AFC Championship games.
Yep.
Now, granted, they also had, one of the greatest defenses of all time.
Has any other quarterback done that for the Jets?
Nope.
They've had Brett Favre for a year.
They
didn't even make the playoffs with Brett Favre.
They had garbage Brett Favre.
Hey, he left New York, went to the Vikings, got them within one terrible interception away from the Super Bowl.
This is accurate.
So I'm saying the Jets have a good quarterback with Zach Wilson. They got good protection with the Barrett Tucker.
Yeah, Barrett Tucker and
pick.
Becton. I want to see what they do next year with that pick and see what they do.
Now, Seattle has seen a good return on that trade, just like the Jets have.
Yeah.
Now, again, Jamal Adams, highest paid safety in the league, and he's a liability in coverage. I'm just saying.
Yeah. But, I mean, you know what? If you put him on your tight ends, he can stay with your tight ends.
He's going to make more money than any other safety in the league.
And, I mean, honestly, he's not in my top 3 safeties. I have Harrison Smith over in Minnesota.
Harry Hitman.
Yeah.
The Hitman.
Hitman. Harry Smith. I have Tyrann Mathieu.
The Honey Badger.
I think he's a better safety. I have, what is his name? Over in New Orleans. I'm going to forget. But, I mean, there's...
Williams?
Marcus Williams. Yeah.
Marcus Williams.
He's rangy. Granted, he missed the tackle, and then the Minneapolis Miracle happened, but, safeties are supposed to tackle, but I want my safety to run around and be a ball hawk via Ed Reed, via Sean Taylor.
Ed Reed could do everything Jamal Adams does and cover. Troy Polamalu could do everything Jamal Adams does and cover. Polamalu, when he blitzed, he had the snap count down.
He was jumping over offensive linemen.
He was already mid-air jumping over the center when he would snap the ball.
I mean, Cam Chancellor, too. Cam Chancellor was a literal linebacker playing safety.
And that's what they think they have with Jamal Adams. They're like, we've got our new Cam Chancellor. No. You have a man who does certain things better than Cam, certain things not as good as Cam. All around, I would take Cam Chancellor over Jamal Adams.
Yeah, today, tomorrow.
I would not trade 2 first-round draft picks for either one of them.
No.
And I'm a big fan of Cam Chancellor.
I love Cam Chancellor.
He's got an incredible life story.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into it right now because we've already gone on way too many tangents. But he's got an incredible life story. Yeah. He's an incredible player. I call him Bam Bam Cam because he would just lay the lumber on everybody.
I mean, that was the Legion of Boom.
I wouldn't trade 2 first-round draft picks for him.
I mean, that was an elite defense.
And when I say Jamal Adams is a liability in coverage, there are memes on the internet saying Jamal Adams wears a wristband for every touchdown he gives up, and it'll be a picture of him wearing 4 wristbands on each arm.
Yeah.
Jamal Adams has 2 career interceptions. 2.
And he's your highest paid safety?
Highest paid safety in the league. 2 career interceptions. You know who has more career interceptions than Jamal Adams? Jason Pierre-Paul.
And he doesn't even have 5 fingers.
And Vince Wilfork.
Oh, my God.
Vince Wilfork was 375 pounds.
JPP has 4 fingers.
And he had 3 career interceptions. Jason Pierre-Paul has more fingers has more interceptions than he has fingers on his right hand. He has 4 career interceptions versus 3 3/4 fingers.
Yeah. Don't play with fireworks, kids.
Yeah, this man doesn't even have 10 fingers. He's out here catching more balls than Jamal Adams. And the funny thing is, both of these men, defensive linemen.
Yeah. They're not.
The ball is being thrown over their heads.
You don't pay defensive linemen to get interceptions. You pay them to get sacks.
Look at the running back in that picture. He is so...
I think that's Mike Tolbert. I want to say that's Mike Tolbert. But yeah, I
believe it is Mike Tolbert. He is so mind blown.
He's like, is this man really... That looks like it's coming over the shoulder. Is he catching it like this?
I'm not sure. His body's twisting in a way I'm sure it is.
Like turning around.
His body is twisting in a way I'm sure it has never twisted before. New England was sly. They actually had this behemoth of a human being dropping back into coverage.
His body was like,
he's in coverage right
before.
He's in coverage right now. This is not, deflecting the ball at the line and then catching it. No. He is in coverage.
He's playing a spy right there, yeah. Let's just spy 380-pound Vince Wilfork.
And the next still shot, Tolbert is at his ankles, face full of dirt while he's running into the end zone.
Wow.
I do believe this was a pick 6.
Oh my gosh.
Vince Wilfork. More career interceptions than Jamal Adams.
Move
him to safety.
Yeah, move Vince to safety, dude. Then you'll have an actual what's it called?
Yeah, hard hitting safety. Actually, no. He wouldn't be able to pick up a full head of steam.
I want to see him backpedal and turn his hips like they do with the combine drills. I just want to see.
That's kind of what he's doing right here. That's what he's doing right here.
He's so graceful.
Graceful.
That's no.
I mean, all things considered.
Look, I want to see any other 380-pound human being turn their hips like Vince Wilfork.
Let's watch Malcolm Brown drop back in the coverage.
Good luck with that. He's more of a run stuffer.
Let's watch Geno Atkins drop back in the coverage.
Yeah, right.
Jump up and grab that ball.
God. Remember Terrence Cody? Imagine Terrence.
Big old defensive tackle for the Baltimore Ravens.
Out of Alabama, yeah. Imagine him dropping back. Terrence Cody. That dude was pushing. Or pot roast Terrence Knighton. You remember Terrence Knighton? Let's drop him back.
Yeah, he played for the Jaguars.
Yeah. Pot roast. That was one of my favorite nicknames of all time. Pot roast. That's brilliant.
And next up, none other than Jacksonville royalty, Florida royalty.
Jesus' favorite player.
And mine too. Tebow.
Timmy T.
I don't care if he's not playing right now. Tim Tebow will probably be my favorite player of all time based off of principle. Because he's just the best. Like, you can't say a bad thing about Tebow. The only bad things that are said about Tim Tebow are, the results on the field. That's it. You can't say anything else about the man. He's as...
I mean, what is there that was bad about him playing quarterback? He took a 1-4 Denver team.
In college, nothing. In the NFL, Elway didn't like him.
Why, though? He took a 1-4 Denver team to the playoffs. They won their first game in overtime against Pittsburgh in Big Ben. And then...
I could sit here and put the Broncos on blast. But...
he didn't get enough chances at quarterback. He didn't get a legitimate chance.
He got plenty of chances, but when he actually capitalized on one of the chances, they turned around and... Now, granted, they turned around and they got Peyton Manning. So, look, I love Tebow, but if I can upgrade from Tim Tebow to Peyton Manning, I'm gonna take that every time.
Yeah.
I would trade in Tebow for a Peyton Manning in a heartbeat. You can't argue with the results. But Tim Tebow was like one of the biggest news stories during the offseason when the Jaguars gave him a tryout at tight end. And first of all, look at those quads. You can. This man was staying in shape while he was reporting for the SEC network.
Yeah, oh yeah.
This man never missed a day in the gym.
He didn't miss leg day.
Look at that. Peak physical condition.
It's like Jesus Christ, imagine. I don't have legs like that. God.
Legs like that, I'm surprised they didn't try him a kicker.
Jesus.
Probably booed that thing 60 yards. But anyway, Tim Tebow was one of the biggest stories because he got a tryout at tight end. Now we'll get into how well he did there, but first, another big story was the debate on whether or not, I'm just going to ask you outright, Tim Tebow, try out with the Jaguars. White privilege? Yes or no?
No. Here's what
we should not even have to say this.
If you look at who Urban Meyer brought in during the offseason, they were Urban Meyer guys.
Yes.
Carlos Hyde, Ohio State running back when Urban Meyer was there.
Yes.
Who else did he bring in during the offseason? I mean, there were so many people. Hyde, Tebow. I mean, these people that he brought in were people that he knew, people that he felt like were good to the culture, that understood the culture that he has been trying to establish.
Yes.
And that's why he brought them in. He gave Tebow a fair shot to try to play.
Did not guarantee him a roster spot. Look, I'll give you a chance. It's up to you to capitalize. You get outworked, then you're outworked. Now, the reason why people pointed at Tebow and said, white privilege, is because of Colin Kaepernick. Now, the idiotic argument that was made, and it was idiotic, was that, so Kaepernick's a much better quarterback than Tebow, but he still gets no phone calls from any teams. Meanwhile, Tim Tebow, who hasn't played in 8 years, is getting a tryout. This is white privilege.
Now, here's my thing about the Kaepernick situation was he was offered a contract.
Yes.
With Denver, I think last year or 2 years ago.
Yes.
And he declined it. He said no.
It was last year.
So, I mean, you can't compare one to another in that aspect. I mean, granted, Colin Kaepernick's a phenomenal athlete. I think he has the most rushing yards by a quarterback.
He rushed for over 200 yards in one game, playing quarterback in the NFL against a Green Bay defense that consisted of, I believe, A.J. Hawk and Clay Matthews.
Yeah, I mean, Clinton Dix when he was still there. I mean, that wasn't a no-show defense. That was a good defense, and he ran all over them. So, I mean, the talent was clearly there. I just think,
I believe it was 250 yards.
Something insane. But the fact of the matter is he was offered a contract, he declined.
Yes.
So the blackball argument goes out the window, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You can't be offered a spot, say no, and then still feel like you're getting mistreated.
Yes. Now, Kaepernick has, in many people's eyes, been blackballed from the NFL because of his stance on taking a knee during the national anthem. We're not even going to touch on that. That's just adding to the point. We're not going to discuss it. But here's the thing. Kaepernick received an opportunity just last year when the Broncos, earlier in the show, we mentioned how the Broncos' entire quarterback room was infected with COVID-19. They had no quarterbacks. They were still being forced to play a game. They worked out Colin Kaepernick. A deal was not finalized. And so they went out and they made a practice squad receiver their quarterback. Now, and again, Kendall Hinton had days to prepare for a position he hasn't played in years.
Probably since high school.
This was an unprecedented situation. We haven't seen anything like this since the 1960s when Tom Matte was a running back for the Colts. When all the Colts quarterbacks got injured, Tom Matte, who had played quarterback at Ohio State, was on the Colts roster. And the Colts head coach, I do believe it was a very young Don Shula at the time, looked at Matte, said, "You played quarterback in college. We need you to play during our next game." And Don Shula, having second thoughts, called up Tom Matte's college coach Woody Hayes and asked him, and he asked him, "Look, Tom playing quarterback, what do I need to know?
Yeah, what are his strengths? What are his weaknesses?
What can I expect?" And Woody Hayes said to Don Shula, "You've got nothing to worry about."
You drafted him as a running back, but don't worry, he can sling that thing. Don't worry.
He played excellent for me. You've got nothing to worry about. The only thing is he had problem taking the snap from center.
Which is a typical quarterback thing. A lot of quarterbacks are more comfortable at a shotgun. Yeah. But I mean, still.
So Tom Matte, and this was when the quarterback wristband, I think, was actually invented. He was given a wristband with all the plays because he didn't have time to memorize them all. He's a running back.
Yeah.
He was given a wristband with all the plays, and he played with that wristband on. And when he would get tackled, players
look at the wristband.
No, players were ripping the band off his arm. Like, you don't need help, you cheater. They ripped it off of him. Said
ripped it off and looked at their.
You don't need help, cheater. And he'd be laying on the ground saying, "Hey, I need all the help I can get." Okay,
yeah, I'm a running back, dude.
Now during that game, Tom Matte, and this is just off the top of my head. This is not in my notes. I think he was 2 for 7 in that game.
And they ran the ball 65 times or something.
He was 2 for 7. I think he had like 19 passing yards. I mean, it's 20 more than Kendall Hinton had.
Yeah.
And I bring up Tom Matte because Tom Matte reached out to Kendall Hinton, and they had a nice little moment between two guys who have been in a position no one else had ever been in. Like, we're the only two people in this world who know.
Yeah,
that kind of pressure.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them, their gear from those games are in the Hall of Fame. Again, I wouldn't have put either one of them in. I mean, I would have put Tom Matte's quarterback wristband in the Hall of Fame just because it was the first one.
Yeah.
But again, Kendall Hinton had one completed pass for negative yardage.
Mm-hmm.
We could have done that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know. Dude, I could have at least
they would have been the Broncos,
one slant route and been good.
The Broncos would have been better off if Elway had just dusted off that helmet on his desk. Like, okay, we're going out there. Where's the long snapper? I'm going to back up as far as the punter does.
Yeah.
Because nobody is touching me.
And I mean, it's sort of the opposite way for, Tebow and other players.
They did that because they didn't have any choice. They did not get Kaepernick under contract.
Yeah.
But they tried.
They did.
Negotiations fell through.
Yeah.
And that has been the reoccurring theme with Colin Kaepernick. The difference between Colin Kaepernick and Tim Tebow, and it is not the color of their skin, it's this. Tim Tebow was willing to do whatever it takes. First of all, Jacksonville, Tebow's hometown.
Mm-hmm.
We love Tebow. Tebow loves us. This is his home. This is his hometown team. Urban Meyer, new head coach of the Jaguars, was Tim Tebow's head coach at Florida.
Probably.
He was his coach in Florida.
Urban's best quarterback.
They won 2 national championships together. Tebow won a Heisman Trophy under Urban. They are neighbors.
Yeah.
They have a very close relationship.
So when Urban first came to Jacksonville, he was sleeping at Tebow's house. Or his parents' house.
If you wanted to tell me, oh, well, Urban signing Tebow, that's nepotism. Yeah. Yeah, it's nepotism.
Welcome to the real world.
100%, no arguments out of me, nepotism. But white privilege? No. And again, not just do they have this great relationship. Not only does Tebow have a great relationship with Meyer, not only is Jacksonville his hometown, he was willing to do whatever the team wanted him to do. He didn't get a tryout at quarterback. He got a tryout at tight end. Like, hey, we want to bring you in, but not at quarterback. We want to bring you in at tight end.
Yeah.
So that's 3 things that Tebow had working in his favor. Now let's look at Kaepernick. Kaepernick kind of burned a few bridges with a few people in the NFL.
Yeah, for sure.
He is a PR nightmare.
Yeah.
But let's put all that aside. let's forget about that. Kaepernick is charging you for tryouts. Most players, they get a tryout with a team. They're just happy to be there.
Yeah.
Kaepernick's like, nah, it's going to cost you.
I want at least $2 million just so you can see me throw.
Do nothing for free.
Yep.
And if you're good at something, never do it for free.
And then whatever you offer me, I'm still going to want
more. So I might not even sign, but I'm still going to charge you just to have a workout. It's not really how this works.
No.
And he is completely dead set on playing quarterback. He's not willing to change positions. Like, hey, Kaepernick, we want to try you as a tall running back or a tight end, or we want to see you at slot receiver because you got some wheels on you.
Yeah, I mean, when he has the ball in open space,
I do think Colin Kaepernick would make a good slot receiver. Well, younger Colin Kaepernick would make a good slot receiver. But Kaepernick is not open to changing positions at all. So these are all the things that have added up to Tebow getting an opportunity and Kaepernick not. And Kaepernick had opportunities, did not capitalize, did not sign a contract with the Broncos,
nope.
Did not open himself to changing positions. Tebow was willing to play ball. That's why he got the chance that he did. Now moving on, did Tebow capitalize on that opportunity? Well, thing is, Tebow did not look that great at tight end. He looked good during practices.
I went to one of the mini camps. He lost a lot of his one-on-one matchups. But I mean, like, again, he's 34. He might be buff as heck.
What I was hearing was that he looked good in practice.
Mm-mm.
But then that first game during the Browns in the preseason happened. Tebow threw 2 of the worst blocking attempts I've ever seen in my entire life.
Hey, he got the job done. One of them, it might not have looked good, but he got the block down.
And after that, it was done. He had like one pass thrown his direction, which
Tavon Austin stole it.
Tavon Austin jumped in front of it.
Yep.
And then that was that. He was cut. Now, my question is, if you were going to bring Tebow in and play him strictly at tight end, why? Why would you do that? Why would you bring him in and only play him at tight end? They didn't try to get cute with any of the formations. They didn't try to run an end around with him. They didn't have him throw a pass out of the Wildcat. They didn't have him run the ball at all. Like, if I'm bringing Tebow in, I'm going to bring him in as a Wildcat player.
Yeah, like goal line situations, H-back maybe, just stuff it.
Like, if you told me you want to bring Tebow in, it's like, we'll throw him in. There'll be plays we throw him in at fullback. There'll be plays where we have him go out for a pass. There'll be plays where we have him run an end around, hand off, do a double pass with Lawrence. Like, I am all in. If you told me we're going to bring Tebow in and play him strictly at tight end, nothing else. No.
No, thank you.
No.
No.
Why would we do that?
Yeah. He's never played that position before, yada, yada, yada.
No.
Yeah. And I mean...
That's a waste of talent, too.
He moved like a quarterback trying to play tight end. That's exactly what he looked like.
Yes.
And you can't have that. Now, granted, he's a phenomenal athlete. He went out there and played baseball.
And I thought he had a very good chance because he didn't have a lot of competition at, tight end. Like, the biggest competition he had was Chris Manhertz and James O'Shaughnessy. And Chris Manhertz has only, I believe, 4 catches on his career.
Caught a touchdown against the Texans.
5 catches on his career. He was mostly a blocking tight end for Carolina during the early stages of his career.
Mm-hmm.
And James O'Shaughnessy has been here for a while. He is a decent option at tight end.
We're at the bottom of the barrel.
He's a decent option at tight end. I'm not going to say he's terrible. I'm not going to say he's starter material. He's a decent option. I would take James O'Shaughnessy as a backup tight end, sure. But my starting tight end is going to be mainly a blocking tight end. My third string tight end is going to be a converted 34-year-old quarterback. And then my one actual pass-catching tight end is going to be O'Shaughnessy.
No, thank you.
I wouldn't be surprised if we drafted tight end.
Now, we drafted one, Luke Farrell.
We did.
But he hasn't really done nothing.
No. So Tebow gets cut after 1 week of the preseason. Speaking of the preseason, coming up next, I am going to crown the preseason MVP for the 2021 football season. Because there's not an MVP award for the preseason. Regular season has an MVP. Yeah. The Super Bowl has an MVP. There's not a preseason MVP. But if there was one, I believe this man far and away ran away with that fictitious title.
Yeah.
Ramondre Stevenson. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce his name.
That's a first name Hall of Fame right there, Ramondre. Like, you remember DeBrickashaw Ferguson?
Oh God.
Yeah, DeBrickashaw.
His parents said, "Oh, DeBrickashaw is it's a family name."
DeBrickashaw.
It's a family name.
Yeah.
There's more than one person whose name is DeBrick.
DeBrick.
Shaw.
DeBrickashaw.
I don't believe that.
DeBrickashaw.
But it's a man's name. We're not gonna rag on somebody's name.
Yeah.
But Ramondre Stevenson, running back for the Patriots, number 38. He was drafted in the 4th round out of Oklahoma. He had a 4.62 40-yard dash time during the pro days, but he plays a lot faster than that. Like,
yeah.
I think that 4.62 dash was a little bit of an off day for him. I think he probably could have got to it like a 4.59.
Yeah. I mean, to me, watching him play, he's very, he's one of those bowling ball backs. You know, people just bounce off of him. He runs hard.
And he can get a full head of steam, too.
Yeah.
Now, coming out of Oklahoma, he only had, in his final season at Oklahoma, he only carried the ball 190 times. 190 carries on the season. So he does not have a lot of wear and tear. He is as fresh as a rookie can be. And during the preseason, he carried the ball 30 times, 217 yards, 7.2 yards per carry, 5 touchdowns, broke a 91-yard run against the Redskins in the 4th quarter with the game sealed. Just a little salt in the wound. I mean, just a little extra.
He's playing against the backups.
Let's put it on tape.
You know.
Let's put it on tape. 242 yards from scrimmage. That was the league leader. It was a league leader by a lot. And you can tell, I knew when I saw Stevenson play, I knew the Patriots were going to make him a huge part of the offense. Like, he was going to challenge for that starting role.
They just keep finding these guys. It's crazy.
And not long after the preseason, they trade Sony Michel, their starting running back, to the Rams. Now, the Rams starting running back, Cam Akers, had gotten injured. He was going to be out for the entire season. They had a bunch of inexperienced running backs on their roster. The only other player that they had who had actually even played in a game was Darrell Henderson.
Yeah.
And everyone was saying that the Rams should go out and sign Frank Gore, Adrian Peterson, Le'Veon Bell.
Listen, I'm a big Frank Gore fan for what he did for Jacksonville. Thank you, Frank Gore. You got us Trevor Lawrence. I love you.
Yes.
Thank you. But yeah, I mean, that was a.
But the Rams came out and said, "No, we feel confident with our guys." And I took one look at their guys and like,
no. But I mean,
you're gonna bring somebody in. You're saying you don't want to go out and sign a veteran.
And Sony Michel was a great back. I mean, he averaged I think like 4-something yards per carry. He was very solid.
You know, maybe the Rams did have faith in their guys, and then after they played a couple games, they're like, okay, no.
Get Bill on the phone.
We gotta do something.
Get Bill on the phone now.
So they trade for Sony Michel. Now Sony Michel, he played at Georgia, running back at Georgia, like Nick Chubb, and his career stats in the NFL. And he came out of college the same year as Nick Chubb. He was a stacked running back class
They
there.
had Todd Gurley in that running back room at the same time.
Or maybe he came out same time as... No, I think it was the same time as Chubb.
Yeah,
I think it was Gurley and then Michelle and Chubb.
Yeah, but they were all at one point on the same team at Georgia.
That's not fair.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, you look at Alabama now, they had Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs.
Well, Alabama has been running back university for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
But the Patriots saw the gem they had in Ramondre Stevenson. Shipped Michelle off to the Rams for some draft picks. Rams got a very capable starting running back.
Fresh, considered he's one of the fresher.
He's very fresh. And like I said, his production has been not as good as Chubb, but it's almost neck and neck.
Yeah,
he's just below Chubb.
I think if you had given you put Michelle in Cleveland, he does just as well as Chubb is doing right now in Cleveland. I
can see that.
They're different runners. Chubb is going to run you over, but Michelle is so nimble. And he can juke.
And I think the Rams are better off. Like, I'll take Sonny Michelle over Cam Akers.
No, I love Cam Akers.
I would take Michelle over Cam Akers.
Cam Akers I don't think he's been given a fair shot yet. I really don't.
Oh, he's not going to get that shot now.
No.
Unfortunately for Cam Akers. And up next.
Oh, boy.
One of the biggest stories I want to say offseason, but it's had nothing to do with the NFL. We are talking a high school football scandal. I'm going to say that one more time. A high school football scandal.
High school
level.
Okay.
High school level.
Yeah, I mean.
Now, this happened in Ohio. I have a very good friend of mine is from Ohio. So when I heard this story, I had to, give him crap about it.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell are y'all doing up there, man?
Good Lord. I mean, my hat's off to Roy Johnson. Hats off to you, dude. I mean, you finesse ESPN. Congrats.
Yeah, we're going to get into that right now. So, Bishop Sycamore. The Bishop Sycamore scandal. In 2018, Roy Johnson, the BS head coach. Bishop Sycamore, BS.
Who, by the way, had a warrant out for his arrest at the time they were on ESPN. He had an active warrant. And
yes, he did.
He's like, I'm gonna go on live TV and just coach this team of 20-year-olds.
Yes. So in 2018, BS head coach Roy Johnson starts an online charter school called Christians of Faith Academy for at-risk youth. Now, originally, they were getting backing from a church, AME church in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And then halfway through the regular season, the church came out and said, whoa, hold up. No, we have no affiliation with them.
We are not associated.
Why is everyone saying we're backing them? We're not. So, and Roy Johnson was a member of that church, too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And Roy Johnson essentially wanted to build a school for players to get another opportunity at high school football and get looks at teams from college.
Mm-hmm.
Problem was, he skipped multiple steps and went straight to fielding a high school football team.
Roy Johnson.
They didn't build the school first. They just went straight to forming a high school team. The state officials could not verify if there were ever any actual classes. There weren't. And the school's license was revoked, and Johnson was investigated for fraud. So it was an online school. It was an online school. They did not have a functioning website. There was no building or HQ base, nothing. No football field. Just an online school. You enroll. You get to play high school football. You don't have to do any of the work. You don't have to worry about being academically eligible and maintaining 2.0 GPA. You're not taking classes.
No. I mean, these kids
Now
we're like 20-something years old.
Now some of these were actual kids who were actually scammed. They actually believed that this was a school and this would be a good opportunity for them to play high school football. Others, I'm just trying to relive them glory days, man.
Oh yeah.
Now, the part that people want to know is, well, how are they making money? What Christians of Faith Academy did, they stacked their schedule against all the best schools they could find.
Oh yeah.
Now you may be wondering if this is your first ever year of existence and you're playing, God bless your soul, and you're playing all the best schools.
Yeah.
You're going to get crushed. Why would you do that? Because you get way more money playing bigger schools than you do smaller schools. It's like in college football, Division II teams will sign up to get their asses kicked by a D1 school.
Well, they get paid to get their butts beat.
Yeah. They will sign up to play one Division I school on their schedule. They'll go in, they'll get their ass kicked, but they'll get a huge payday.
Goodness gracious.
Bless you.
Thank you.
They will get a huge payday from that game because they're getting some of the profits from the game. Mm-hmm. So you play against a giant football powerhouse school that has a stadium of 50,000 that sells out, 50,000, 100,000, however many, and that game sells out, you're getting some of that profits. Then you go back, play your other D2 schools who have 10,000 in the stands. You're not getting nearly as much money.
No.
Same thing in high school. That's how they were making their money. Now, in 2019, Johnson rebranded and relaunched the school as Youth Build the Centurions. Again, online school with a football team that was renamed Bishop Sycamore. That the school was renamed again from Youth Build to Bishop Sycamore. All online. All the schools are online. No home base at all. And they kept the same jerseys too.
Oh my God. They look
like you're running this scam and you're not even going to change. You get caught running the scam. You run a scam again under a different name and you're not going to change your clothes.
I mean, it's here's my thing. If you looked at their schedule, their games were scheduled at 3 a.m., 6 a.m., 12 p.m. I mean,
they would schedule back-to-back games.
All over the place. Can you imagine being all right, guys, we're playing at 3 a.m.?
It was a scam. They were taking games wherever they could get them.
Yeah.
And some people were wondering, well, how could they get away with this? They didn't have a football field. They played all away games.
Yeah.
And if you're like me and you're wondering, how did a fake school even schedule a game with a real school? How did that even work? Apparently, high school football scheduling, it's not like the NFL and NCAA where it's planned out years in advance. This is high school football. Most of the schedules are made off of handshake deals between coaches.
Yeah, I mean, I run a baseball park, and we did a scheduling program, and we met with all the other coaches.
I didn't know that. Yeah. These were verbal and handshake agreements to play.
And I mean, you say, hey, who can play us this day? And then a coach will say, oh, we'll play you that day. And then, boom, it's on the schedule. There's no looking into who you are. There's no looking into how many players.
They actively encouraged you, hey, don't go looking into our deal.
Do not look me up. Roy Johnson's like, don't
now,
look me up.
Now, if someone were to tell me, hey, don't look me up.
Yeah, I'm going to look you up. I don't trust that one. I don't know about that, buddy.
Yes.
But I mean, and here's my thing. If you're going to do that, and you're going to get on a nationally televised game...
Oh, we're getting to that part.
You can't get blown out. Like, I mean, they got blown out. Like, by 50 or something crazy. And it's just like, if you're players and you're like in your 20s and your mid-20s, late 20s, whatever, however old they were, I don't know. But, like, you're getting...
But mostly they weren't as old as the internet was making it out to be.
Yeah, but I mean, It's you can't most of them, but I mean,
and think about it. You're a high school football coach. You got to schedule games. This guy calls you. Hey, we're willing to play you, and we're willing to play you at home. You don't have to, worry about traveling or anything. We'll come to you and play. All right, done deal. Hang up. All right, 1 down, 9 more to go.
Yeah.
So you can understand. Now, my question is this. At some point, there had to be at least one coach who...
In a perfect world, there would have been.
There had to be at least one coach who would have said, now, I have lived in this city my entire life. I am 50 years old. I've lived here my entire life. I have been coaching for 20 years. Why have I never heard of your school?
Yeah. I mean, but then you can pass off the whole, we're a new charter school, we just started this year, blah, 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 blah. But the thing that blew my mind was ESPN, they were just like, we've never heard of this guy before.
ESPN was completely different. And the thing is, a lot of these schools actually were aware that Bishop Sycamore was not a real school,
mm-hmm.
or not that they had players that were over the age of 18. But they still played the game.
Easy dub.
Like, that this team has players that are over 18, but you're still going to trot these teenagers out there to play these men.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to schedule another game? Or whatever your reasoning is, I don't understand it.
Now, was Bishop Sycamore paying these teams to play against them, or was it the other way around? We were paying...
Bishop Sycamore was hemorrhaging money. They couldn't pay for anything, so I doubt that.
So they were probably getting paid to come out and play.
They couldn't pay for the hotel rooms that they were staying in. All the students stayed in hotel rooms the whole time.
They were showing pictures of the food they were eating out there, and it was
a lot of the food was stolen.
Yeah,
because they couldn't afford to feed the players, and again.
And it was slop. I mean, I've seen better food in prisons than I saw the pictures that were being posted of Bishop Sycamore meals.
Cartoon sloppy joes look better.
Mush, like a mystery meat, whatever you want to call it.
The mystery meat.
And
again, some of these were, men pretending to be teenagers. Some of these were actual kids who were actually trying to get looks from college.
Mm-hmm.
Now. They've renamed themselves Bishop Sycamore. The team was not a member of the Ohio State Athletic Association.
We're just going out here and playing people, bro. It's like the longest yard.
And that was done for religious reasons. For religious reasons, we are our own thing. We're not part of this association because it was a Christian school.
AKA, we found a loophole.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
They went 5-6 their first season, from what I've read. Now I heard other accounts that said they only won 2 games. They were 2-9, and then I heard 5-6. I'm just gonna go with 5-6.
I don't know. After I saw what IMG did to them, I would have gone 2-9. That's my bet. They were awful.
September 23rd, 2019, a West Virginia school canceled a game after finding out that Johnson's team had many players over the age of 18. This was the beginning of that snowball going down the hill.
More like an avalanche.
In 2020, Bishop Sycamore goes 0-6.
Goose egg.
Bishop Sycamore in 2021 uses a now defunct website to drum up hype. No mention of educational goals or student lifestyle, only blogs of private workouts for college teams and players making highlight reels trying to get noticed. Now, Bishop Sycamore starts the season 0-2, and they play IMG Academy 2 days after losing to a school in Pennsylvania 19-7.
So, I mean, they went from Pennsylvania to Orlando or wherever. IMG's in Bradenton, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. So, I mean,
and this is a
high school kids, yeah.
This is a school stationed in Ohio.
Yeah.
They don't play home games. They're going all over the map, playing the best teams in the world. The IMG game is featured on ESPN. The ESPN announced team was informed that Bishop Sycamore had numerous Division I prospects, but it was obvious that they didn't. And the commentators buried the school on air during the 58-0 blowout. And
I remember one report was that there's a guy who was like, and here is blah, 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 blah. And they say he's listed here as a 4-star, but we have no idea where he is in the database. Yep. I was like, Jesus. That man's on blast.
After being exposed on the field, people began looking into the school, finding out the address was fake and the school itself did not exist. There was no school.
Come on, Roy.
And the school had a GoFundMe that was shut down. All their games canceled.
Poverty.
Now, and then the big one that Bishop Sycamore was most notably known for was the grown men they had on the roster.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Longest yard, just like that.
Just
look at the great colleague.
So, it's huge. So, again, some of the players on this team were actual high school students. Some of them were grown men. And we all know those guys at the bar, at the sports bar. They're always there. They're watching the game. And they're like, yeah, man, if I hadn't blown out my knee in high school, it's always the knee.
Oh, yeah.
If I hadn't blown out my knee, man,
I tell people
I'd be D1. I'd have made it in the league.
Oh, yeah. If I could jump, I'd be in the NBA.
Yeah. If I were 7 feet tall, I could be in the NBA.
Yeah.
No, my knee hadn't blown out. So some of these guys are like, you know what? I never got a fair opportunity. I'm going to go to Bishop Sycamore. I'm going to take that opportunity from actual kids.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got to be a humbling experience for these grown men that went out there thinking, yeah, I'm going to take back my glory days. Going to put a whooping on these kids. You're essentially, for all intents and purposes, you should be a team of ringers.
Yeah.
You got destroyed.
Dude, they got absolutely demolished. I mean, it's
0-8.
But I mean, to go on national TV and
get humiliated
and try to relive your glory days and lose 58-0. Yeah.
I wonder how old some of these guys looked.
Pack it up. It's over.
I'm just imagining a player coming to the sideline. Hey, coach, I think we'll be able to run the ball up the middle against these guys. I'm pretty sure that DT has scout.
It's just awful. Awful.
Yeah. So information is still coming out about the whole Bishop Sycamore thing.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole lot of other stuff that we hadn't gotten into just because it's still being unearthed. This is gonna make a great documentary one day. Can't wait.
I can see the 30 for 30 now.
30 for 30. BS high.
Yeah. Gosh, imagine looking back on it and be like, yeah, I played for Bishop Sycamore back in the day. I'm like, okay, dude.
Good Bishop Sycamore. When you can't make it into the NFL, NCAA, or high school.
Yeah. BS high is the place for you. But I mean, if you're Roy Johnson and you have warrants out for your arrest, the last thing I want to do is be on a nationally televised game. What were you thinking? Like, what is going through your head? I wonder what he's up to now. Is he in jail?
I'm pretty sure he's on the run and unemployed because he was fired.
Yeah, he definitely ain't coaching Bishop.
You got fired from a fake school?
Yeah.
I wonder how that worked.
Sir, we have to let you go.
But, what? Who is we?
We at Bishop
There is
Sycamore.
No we.
I invented Bishop Sycamore.
There is no we. There's me. Actually, technically, it was a man named Andre Patterson that is credited as founding Bishop Sycamore out of the ashes of Christians of Faith.
Got you. And
he basically, it's like he took over Roy's operation and let him continue doing his thing. You got warrants out for, you have a car that you never paid off. You've got all these fraudulent claims. He was charging the hotel rooms to parents' cards. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's so crazy.
Shifting focus from high school football scandals to college football upsets.
I'm so glad college football is back.
I am too. Honestly, I wish the college football season could be 30 games.
Oh my God, I don't know about all that.
I would never get tired of watching. Now, obviously, this would be detrimental to the players' health.
I mean,
cannot do it.
And then at that point, you have like a baseball situation where every game doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? In college football, you lose one game, your whole season can be derailed.
I know. I'm just saying, I never get tired of watching college football. I don't actually want to see a 30-game schedule. I just wish they would play a few more games than they do.
Yeah. I mean, what is it, 12, 13? No, it's 12 if you get to the conference title game, 13 after the bowl game, right?
LSU, the year that they went undefeated with Burrow and made it through the first college football playoffs, it was like 15-0, okay. I think.
That's right, because they added, well, basically, if you're the Final Four, you get 2 bowl games, essentially.
They're playoff games. The bowl games count as playoff games, which I love. Now, one of the things I love about college football is you see a lot more upsets in college football than you do in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
You get so many more upsets. Like, for example, during week 1 of the college football season, Montana beat the number 20th ranked school in the nation, the Washington Huskies, 13-7.
What a barn burner.
A Division II school beat the number 20 D1 school in the nation, in the country. Now, Montana has not beaten Washington in a football game since 1920. So, this has been over 100 years in the making.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how many times they played each other during that 100-year span.
Yeah.
But the last time they beat Washington was 100 years ago. Now, the Montana Grizzlies were down 7-3 in the fourth quarter. They scored 10 points in the fourth quarter to win the game. Washington's freshman quarterback, Dylan Morris, threw 3 interceptions. He had a rushing touchdown, 226 passing yards. Montana's senior quarterback, Cameron Humphrey, had 105 passing yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, also a rushing touchdown. So both touchdowns scored in this game were rushing touchdowns by the quarterbacks. And I saw footage of Montana celebrating their win in the tunnel. I thought they were going to kill their coach. I'm just going to say that right now. Because the players were grabbing their coach and doing that. And they were tossing him up in the air. I'm like, they're going to toss that man up straight into the ceiling. He's going to break his neck. They're going to kill their coach.
I mean, just like you were saying with Bishop Sycamore, teams, they pay these Division II teams to come.
Yeah.
Washington paid Montana to beat them, essentially. I mean, you look at Jacksonville State and Florida State. They paid Jacksonville State, I think it was like $250,000. It was something crazy.
This was supposed to be a cupcake team.
Yep. This was a warm-up game.
Cupcake team. This was supposed to be a tune-up game. That going back to The Longest Yard. If you ever seen the movie The Longest Yard, the one with Adam Sandler, he says, well, back in college, we'd schedule a game against some D2 school, like Appalachian State. We open every season against Appalachian State, some little D2 school, beat the holy crap out of them, get everybody's confidence up, work out the kinks.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
Montana was supposed to be that Appalachian State team, that tune-up game.
Yeah.
And Montana was supposed to just be happy to be there, collect a paycheck, take your L, go home with the money. Montana said, no, we want that money, and
we want the dub.
We want the win.
We want the dub. Now, Appalachian State, though, they've historically been a very solid program.
Yeah, I would have used a different school as an example during that movie.
They just took Miami to the wire.
Appalachian State has slowly been becoming.
Aren't they?
Appalachian State and Coastal Carolina both.
Coastal Carolina is ranked in the top 25.
They were both ranked in the top 25 last year.
Mm-hmm. Coastal Carolina is like almost top 10 this year.
Coastal Carolina, not that long ago, was one of those tune-up teams.
Yep.
But yeah, this D2 school beat the number 20 school in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody saw that coming. And it was a fourth quarter comeback, which makes it all
10
better.
unanswered points in the fourth.
Yep. And that was the biggest upset of the season
thus far.
Some people have been saying, what about Florida State, Jacksonville State? What about it?
Florida State's
We knew Florida State was going to suck.
We knew they suck.
We knew they were going to be bad.
You're still not supposed to lose to Jacksonville State. That's just the fact of the matter. I mean,
I don't think you're allowed. I think in sports in general, you're not allowed to lose to a team that is under the title of Jacksonville anything.
Don't do us like that. Don't do us like that. The Jags.
Hey, I've lived here a long time, man.
All right, I guess we can say it like that. But
at least in the last decade.
Yeah, I mean, Jacksonville's not even a state.
Even
they lost to a fictitious state school.
And it's not Jacksonville State. That's in Jacksonville, Florida.
No, it's Alabama, right?
I believe so. But still, it's got Jacksonville in the name. You should be winning that game.
Yeah, okay.
Moving on from Montana's upset of Washington, we move on to week 2 of the NCAA season, where we got another monumental upset. Not as big of an upset, but a much more significant one. As the number 12 ranked Oregon Ducks defeated the number 3 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yes, ring the bell.
35-28.
Ryan Day lost his first regular season game of his career.
Well, you know why? All Urban's players are gone.
Yeah. Nah, you can't say that, though. Ryan Day's recruited exceptionally well while being at Ohio State.
Not as well as... I'm not going to say he hasn't done a good job.
I would say better than Urban Meyer. He's recruited better.
I think Urban Meyer recruited better than Ryan Day.
Oh, I can pull up the stats right now. I mean, Ryan Day, he's been there, 2-3 years now? And every year they've had a top 3 recruiting class. That's crazy.
I think a lot of that is on merit, though.
I mean, it's
Ohio State.
Obviously, it's the brand, yes.
Alabama, no matter what, is going to be among the top recruiting class because it's Alabama.
Yeah, but you don't see Alabama losing.
It's Alabama.
But it's Alabama. Exactly. It's Saban. It's Alabama. Yeah. But, I mean, the logo holds weight. So, I mean, people are going to go to Ohio State. But, obviously, maybe, I don't know yet. It's only the first loss. But maybe Ryan Day isn't the coach Ohio State thought they were. I don't know. Who knows? I
definitely don't think he's the coach that they thought he was. I'm not saying he's not a good coach. But, that urban shine is going to wear off. We're going to see that urban shine is going to wear off. That brand shine is going to wear off. You're going to see Ryan Day for what he is. Not a bad coach, but not Urban Meyer.
He's giving me Kirby Smart vibes. Great recruiter. Can't get it done.
Kirby Smart's a very good coach, just
can't get it done.
Gets hyped too much.
Now, granted, they just now went out and beat Clemson, but that's a Trevor Lawrence-less Clemson.
They beat DJ Uiagalelei.
Hey, he's good, though. He's going to be great.
He almost beat Notre Dame last year.
Yeah.
But this could very well have been Ohio State's second loss of the season. I think they should have lost to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Minnesota came close.
Throw the boot! PJ Fleck. I love PJ Fleck. Great coach.
I think Minnesota should have won that game. Ohio State eked out a win. But they did not pull off a win here. No. Ohio State committed 8 penalties in this game. Where's the discipline, Mr. Day? And they had 128 rushing yards, averaging 4.1 yards per carry. Now, 4.1 yards per carry isn't bad.
That ain't nothing to shake your
128 rushing yards, that's not bad.
No.
Considering you just lost Trey Sermon.
Yeah.
Trey Sermon was a huge part of that running game. They don't have him anymore.
I mean, you lose a Trey Sermon, and then you bring in the number 1 running back in the country in Travion Henderson.
Yes.
It's an embarrassment of riches. It's just like Alabama. You can't...
Yes. Alabama, Georgia, they've always got a...
You lose one, you got another that's ready to just absolutely ball out.
Now, 128 rushing yards and 4.1 yards per carry is a step down, but it's not bad. But when you compare that to Oregon's 269 rushing yards and 7.1 yards per carry against Ohio State, that ain't getting the job done. 7.1 yards per carry for Oregon.
Jesus.
Damn near every time they call a running play, they're getting a first down. They are almost guaranteed a first down if they run the ball.
I mean, hey, that's hats off to CJ Verdell.
They turned that game into a track meet.
Yeah.
They turned it into a track meet. And it starts with CJ Verdell, yes. CJ Verdell, Oregon running back, number 7. 20 carries, 161 yards, 2 touchdowns, broke off a 77-yarder. He also had 34 receiving yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
So he was a big factor in every facet of that offense.
And I mean that's what running backs are today.
You want to talk about spoilment of riches. Oregon's running backs over the last 15 years.
They don't do well in the league though. Outside of LeGarrette Blount, who do you have?
Well, look at their production in college, though.
Okay, now hey, LaMichael James is one of my favorite. We
are talking about college football right now.
Yeah. I mean,
and at the college level, it's been a spoilment of riches.
Yeah, I mean, they always get like these insanely. They get these people.
It started off with LeGarrette Blount, who was a bruiser. Yeah. I do mean bruiser. He knocked out that Boise State player.
I was about to say he was knocking people out literally on the field.
Ripped his helmet off. Not ripped his helmet. That Boise State player that came up to him after the game was bragging.
Yeah.
LeGarrette wasn't having it and just boom!
Popped him. Yeah.
Literally punches him in the face. He became the most successful one in the NFL out of the Oregon running backs. The one that punched the dude.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The one that got into fights in practices and in locker rooms. He was a successful one.
But I mean, you look at who they've had: DeAnthony Thomas.
They had DeAnthony Thomas,
LaMichael James,
small, speedy guy who was converted into a slot receiver by the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Who kind of got phased out once they got Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
And then LaMichael James. Who doesn't love LaMichael James?
I love LaMichael James.
If you played NCAA, the video game, LaMichael James was a cheat code.
Yeah.
He was a cheat code. It's like Bo Jackson in Tecmo Bowl.
And then he got drafted by the Niners, but just had so many injuries that it was just...
He became damaged goods, unfortunately. And after LaMichael James, let's see, there was DeAnthony Thomas, there was LaMichael James. Who else was there? Now it's CJ Verdell.
Yeah, he's like a bowling ball. He's like everything that...
He's not as fast as the other guys, but he's bigger, he's stronger, he's like huskier.
He's like a LeGarrette Blount mixed with a DeAnthony Thomas.
Yeah.
He's
like you take LeGarrette Blount, you take LaMichael James, you get the best of both worlds, you've got CJ Verdell.
Voila.
And what you have is 161 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, and a win over the number 3 ranked school in the nation.
Yeah. Plus 34 yards catching the ball and another touchdown on top.
I wonder what Herb Street thought about that game. You know he had Ohio State winning this game.
Yeah, Herb Street.
You know Herb Street had Ohio State winning it. I don't know what Herb Street said before this game, but I guarantee it was something along the lines of Oregon's very good, but they're just not on the level of an Ohio State. They're gonna win this game. CJ Stroud is going to ball out. Now, Kirk Herbstreit wouldn't say ball out, but he would put it in more professional terms.
Yeah. But I mean, if you look...
But that's probably what Herbstreit said.
And if you look at the recruiting in the past years, Mario Cristobal has done a phenomenal job with Oregon. They're getting players from South Florida. They're getting players from Ohio. They're getting players from all over the country. And they're recruiting extremely well. Extremely well. And I mean, it's just...
Tony Brooks-James, that was another
one of their backs.
Running back in Oregon. Now, I think he's a rookie in the league this year, but it was good in college.
Yeah. I mean,
he wasn't like the other guys we mentioned. He was good. I was just like, I know another name. I know another name. What's the other name?
It's on the tip of my tongue.
Tony Brooks-James. Yeah. That's who it was.
I mean, but Mario Cristobal's done a phenomenal job. They recruited the number 1 player in the country 3 years ago with Kayvon Thibodeau. I mean, they're not.
Oh, Thibodeau.
Yeah, he's a beast, man. I hope the Jags can somehow land him if we continue to suck. But it's just.
I'm sure we'll probably be drafting top 5.
If we get top 5, we're going Kyle Hamilton, I think, out of Notre Dame.
It's trade up to 2, take Kayvon.
Yeah, hey, I'm with it. But what are we going to have to give up to do that?
I think him and Derek Stingley are the 2 best players in the draft class.
Yeah, don't sleep on Kyle Hamilton. That man is 6'5".
I'm not sleeping on Kyle Hamilton.
With range.
Look, Kyle Hamilton is a top 5 player in the draft. I'm saying if I'm
right.
1 and 2
tier wise, yeah.
Look, 1 and 2. Somebody's got to be 1. Somebody's got to be 2.
Yeah.
There's still 3, 4, 5. You can put Kyle Hamilton in,
and you know there's going to be a quarterback
nobody's
team at the top. There's going to be a team that overtakes a quarterback, and then Thibodeau, Stingley, and
Spencer Rattler will probably go number 1.
You've also got Sam Howell out of UNC who could go number 1.
Sam Howell will probably go in the top 5 just because somebody trading up to get a quarterback who wasn't able to get Spencer Rattler.
Yeah. And I mean, this quarterback class is not as deep as the year last year.
The 2 top quarterbacks are Rattler and Howell.
And they're not.
And then there is drop-off. And
I mean, Desmond Riddler at Cincinnati.
Desmond Riddler out of Cincinnati does intrigue me.
He does. He's athletic. He can run. He can throw. I mean,
the upside.
Yeah.
Now, it's a risk-reward deal. We have no idea how he'll develop. No. But his potential.
Yeah. I mean, Malik Willis out of Liberty.
And Malik Willis.
He's another one of those guys.
He's the 3rd quarterback in the class.
Yeah. He's another one of those guys that has sky-high potential. But, I mean,
I would say it goes Rattler, Howell, drop-off, Willis, and then probably Nevada's Carson Strong gets a lot of mention. And then number 5 I'll give to Desmond Riddler.
Yeah. But, I mean, like, these guys... all of them are still, in last year's class, not as good as Trey Lance. They're not as good as Zach Wilson. They're not as good as Trevor Lawrence. They're not as good as Justin Fields. These are guys that would be bottom-tier guys in last year's draft.
These are Mitchell Trubisky's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, you don't have a Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson.
No.
You've got a bunch of Mitchell Trubisky's.
Yeah. You got
Sam Howell literally is coming from North Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, you just got a lot of people that you're going to have to be able to scheme with in order to be great. You can't just throw them into your playbook and have them adjust like a Trevor Lawrence or a Mac Jones or a Justin Fields. These are guys that can you mold your offense around them, not have them mold the offense. You know what I'm trying to say? It's just like these are guys that can learn.
You build around them. You adjust to them. You don't make them adjust to you.
Exactly.
It's not going to work that way. Anyway, Ohio State missing Trey Sermon, missing Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Now, C.J. Stroud, the quarterback who has the unenviable task of replacing Justin Fields.
Yeah.
He didn't play bad. He completed 35 of 54 passes, 484 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. That's usually going to net you a win.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, he's a quarterback that was an elite.
If the other team's not averaging 7 yards per carry, then what Stroud did is going to net you a win.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he was an Elite 11 finalist coming out of high school, very highly touted guy. I mean, he's not bad by any means.
He's not Fields, though.
No.
Stroud's a good guy. He's not Fields.
No.
Speaking of which, I'm pretty sure Justin Fields will be the only Ohio State quarterback that has ever been successful in the league.
Now, hey, they got this one guy named Quinn Ewers. That man he reminds me a lot of Pat Mahomes. He's got the flair with his little mullet.
Some lofty.
Listen. He's got the flair with the mullet, you know, looking like.
Does he have that sidearm, that touch pass?
Yes. His sidearm is crazy. His arm strength is crazy.
Now, the first thing I think of when I think of Mahomes is sidearm, no look. Just
look up Quinn Ewers highlights coming out of high school. That man is ridiculous. He gives me vibes of Pat Mahomes. I'm not saying he's going to be as great as Pat Mahomes, because I mean Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion, is the best quarterback of all time. And look, there's a difference between greatness and best. To me, Aaron Rodgers was the best quarterback of all time just on his abilities. But if you look at what Pat Mahomes can do now, he's insane. You look at the Super Bowl, this man was laying sideways and hitting people in the chest, hitting people in the helmet. We've never seen anybody in the history of the NFL throw sidearm snake eyes passes.
He literally completed a pass while his body was at like a 10-degree angle off the ground.
He is changing the position and he's changing the game of football, much like Steph Curry changed the game of basketball.
Mahomes reminds me a lot of Brett Favre, just in the sense of when you think of Brett Favre, you think of backyard football.
Yeah.
Just get the ball. I'm going to get the ball out.
Gunslinger.
I'm going to throw it as far as I can.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a little pitch like that. Brett Favre was backyard football.
Mm-hmm. But Pat Mahomes has got some
And
wheels.
Mahomes has perfected backyard football.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I feel like on a standpoint of just his skills, when it's all said and done, he's already got a Super Bowl under his belt. When it's all said and it went last year, when it's all said and done, I think he's going to go down as the best quarterback of all time. That's just my opinion. I think he's that good.
I don't think people are going to give him the edge over Brady. Now, if we're talking about just talent, yes.
Yes, but I mean, now
I don't think people are ever going to give him the edge over Brady.
Well, Brady's the greatest. He has 7 rings. To me, championships determine greatness, ability determines best. Much like LeBron is better than Jordan, but Jordan's greater than LeBron.
I believe Aaron Rodgers, in that sense, is the best quarterback
and you know what?
of all time.
And like I said,
because for a long time I thought nobody has just more pure arm strength. Yeah. Nobody has been just a better thrower of the football than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I agree. And then Pat Mahomes came.
Along came Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, that dude is ridiculous.
Patrick Mahomes II, this kid out of Texas Tech.
He can spin it, man. He could spin it.
And I had a feeling Mahomes coming out of Texas Tech was going to be good. Was going to be very good. I did not predict that he would be as good as he was. If I were to sit here and tell you, I knew what he was going to be, I'd be lying to your face.
Oh yeah.
Like I knew he was going to be good. I knew he was going to surprise some people. Like I think some people are sleeping on this kid. He's going to be better than we think. Not that much better.
Yeah. I mean, Tyreek
God
Hill.
Almighty! You see that 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns in his second year.
Yeah.
First year as a starter.
Yeah. And I mean, Tyreek Hill, he's even quoted saying, "Man, this guy sucks." You know, like he said it himself after a practice in Pat Mahomes' first year. And then
I wonder if that was him.
Maybe that was trolling. Maybe that was some smoke. Some smoke screen.
Oh, don't worry about him. He sucks.
Yeah, he's not that good. Starts cross-arming it and stuff. Just crazy, absolutely crazy stuff. I mean, he's changing the game of football.
Speaking of Tyreek Hill, you know he wants a foot race with Usain Bolt.
Yeah. Tyreek Hill.
He's like he laid down the challenge. He laid down the challenge to Usain Bolt. Hey, Usain, my Super Bowl ring, your gold medal. Let's go.
Granted, Tyreek Hill's what, 26, 27?
Yeah, but Usain Bolt is still Usain Bolt.
Yeah, but it's not like they're in their primes. Usain Bolt's not coming off of Beijing with 4 or 5 gold medals.
No, but you look at Tyreek Hill's prime, compare it to Usain Bolt's prime, it's not comparable. The only reason Tyreek Hill would have any kind of advantage is because of age. But Usain Bolt, even in his older age, still, I'm not going to say he would smoke Tyreek Hill, but he's winning a foot race.
I don't know. Tyreek Hill's insane. He's insane. You know what? Let me stop. Usain Bolt's the fastest human to ever live. Let me pump the brakes.
Kevin Hart won a foot race against Usain Bolt?
No way.
He cheated, obviously.
Okay, I was about to say he probably had like a 50-yard head start or something stupid. Like
he raced in like a full-length race across the basketball court. Hart started at like half court.
Yeah. And I bet he barely beat Usain.
He still barely beat him.
Yeah.
Like he got to start halfway through.
Talk about it.
And like he took off before the whistle, and he was already at half court when the whistle blew. So it's not like he came out at half court. It was half court in full stride. Just barely by an inch past Usain Bolt. It's like, I get to say that I beat Usain Bolt in a foot race. I think it was Kevin Hart. I could be wrong.
It sounds like a Kevin Hart thing to do.
It sounds like something Kevin Hart did. It might have been somebody else. I just remember seeing this person saying, now I get to say I beat Usain Bolt in a foot race.
Yeah.
Nobody has to know the details.
Yeah. Right.
I beat him in a foot race.
He also beat Draymond Green in a 3-point shootout.
You or I could do that.
I know I could, for sure.
Okay, maybe not me. I got the shooting ability of Shaquille O'Neal.
No.
And shifting gears right back to the NFL now. one of the most
underappreciated.
That's a word. I was going to say heartwarming stories is that of the comeback, the return of Dak Prescott, 2021 comeback player of the year, putting it out there right now.
Yeah. I mean, who is even close to being in that race? You know, there's not a lot of people that, I mean, Dak's in a prime position at quarterback. You know, those are usually the people that get awards, you know, the popular people.
You already have a leg ahead of the competition if you're a quarterback.
Oh, a leg ahead. Poor guy.
Okay, I did not hear that when I said it.
Poor guy. A leg ahead.
Or is it leg up? Leg up on the competition?
Yeah, but I mean, like, he has a torn ACL. He's coming back from a torn ACL. Not much of a leg. Too soon?
Hey, you're the one that brought it up.
Too soon? Okay, too soon. Too soon.
Yes, too soon, because we haven't gotten to that part yet. But Dak Prescott, the franchise quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, in 2020, Week 5, unfortunately, suffers a compound right ankle fracture. And he is out for the remainder of the season. This was a gruesome injury. And if you watch the footage of the hit and you see his leg in real time, it is gruesome.
It's gnarly. It's like Chris Ware, like
you can get many excellent shots of it on Hard Knocks. For some reason, they loved showing that. Oh, yeah. It was very hard to watch. But so Prescott missed most of the season last year, and he rehabbed all the way back for the 2021 season. And in his very first game, his very first game back from such a devastating injury, he comes out all guns blazing, 42 of 58 passing, 403 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Dak is back.
That's right. I mean, if my quarterback's coming off from an ACL injury, is your game 1 week plan to have him drop back 58 times?
It probably drops back 60.
That's crazy.
58 is just the number of times he got the ball out. It was probably 60 dropbacks.
That's crazy.
Yeah, if I had a quarterback who'd suffered an injury, the caliber of injury that Dak Prescott had, he did not play any of the preseason.
Nope.
No preseason action for Prescott at all. This was the very first in-game action we have seen since the injury. By the way, he was still the league leader in passing yards for like 3 weeks after the injury. That's how good he was playing.
Oh, yeah. This is definitely not the Cowboys of old. I mean, this isn't the same Cowboys team with Romo and with the elite offensive line.
This ain't your Romo's Cowboys.
No. This is a new era in Dallas football, and it's just...
Now, it ain't your triplet Cowboys either, but...
No, but you're not going to get those anymore.
Nah. At least not in Dallas.
No.
At least not soon.
No. I mean, granted, Dak is a phenomenal quarterback, but...
Yeah.
I just don't think there's enough.
It's just good to see him bounce back. Like him to suffer that kind of injury, and for him to bounce back. It's like, hey, not only am I back, I'm better than ever.
Yeah,
I'm putting the league on notice right now. 58 pass attempts. You know it. I'm good. You know my body's gonna hold up. I'm ready. I'm ready for this. Now you'd think that'd be enough to get the win. However, Dallas actually lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 31-29. Now, Prescott did everything you could ask your quarterback to do to put your team in a position to win. Prescott did. 42 of 58, 403 yards, 3 touchdowns. Normally, that's going to be enough to get the win.
Yeah.
Unless the team you're playing has Tom Brady and he goes 32 of 50 for 379 yards and 4 touchdowns, throwing 2 interceptions.
I mean, and the thing about Brady, and it's been the same over his entire career, if you give him the ball last, you are going to lose.
If you're playing Tom Brady, the rules are whoever has the ball last wins. Yeah. Unless he's already up by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, which is also very likely. But
highly likely.
You can't put that game on Dak. He didn't have the ball in his hands.
Dak, 58 pass attempts, he had the ball in his hands as much as you would expect. Now, you would think he completed 42 passes. Normally, if you complete 42 passes, you're winning the football game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Dallas had Prescott throw the ball 58 times because their running game was non-existent. Here's the thing. Dallas's offense had 60 rushing yards during that game. 60 rushing yards. Big Ezekiel Elliott. 11 carries, 33 yards. Get your money, big boy.
That's awful. That's awful. But, I mean, again, this is not the Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick offensive line anymore.
Didn't Zeke just get paid?
Big. He got paid big.
He got paid big time to go out there and get you 3 yards a carry off of 11 carries.
Yeah,
how do you pay a running back in the modern league, in the modern era, in 2021, you're going to pay a running back as much as you're paying Zeke? You get 11 carries for 33 yards out of that?
Terrible.
Now, that is unacceptable. That's unacceptable. Zeke dropped the ball big time. And yes, there's the offensive line that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
that was the offensive line that got DeMarco Murray 1,900 yards or 1,800. I believe it was 1,800 yards.
Yeah, I think it was 1,800. But I mean, there was.
What happened when DeMarco Murray left Dallas and left that offensive line? You never saw near that production again.
But I mean, like you said, or how I said earlier, if you have 3 great offensive linemen, your offensive line is already top 5, top 10 in the NFL.
Yes.
You lose those guys, and now you see what's happened with Dallas. Ezekiel Elliott was a surefire
Did they lose all those guys?
I know Zach Martin is not on the team anymore. Tyron Smith is still there. Travis Frederick has some sort of he's not there anymore.
Big old silverback Tyron Smith.
Yeah.
He's a very physically imposing
He's a Hall of
human
Famer.
being.
He's a Hall of Famer at that left tackle position. There's nobody that
he scares me more than Becton.
Yeah. Tyron Smith is that dude. But I mean, now they have like Connor Williams, who's like a 3rd-year, 4-year guy out of Texas.
I remember getting into arguments in high school with some of the other kids. They'd be like, "Oh, DeMarco Murray's the best back in the league." What makes you say that? He's got more rushing yards than anyone in the league. It's because he has a great offensive line. He's not that good. Look, DeMarco Murray was good, but he was not the best running back in the league. He was never the best running back in the league.
I mean, he went to Tennessee.
And when he went to Philly and Tennessee, you saw that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But he's got more rushing yards than anyone else in the league.
Look who's blocking for him. I mean, we're looking at it with the Colts now. The Colts have one of the best offensive lines of football. Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines.
You better if you're going to trot Carson Wentz out there.
They are eating. Their whole running back room is eating, and it's because they have a great line.
Now, one thing about this Dallas-Tampa game is after the game, Dak went up to Brady, and he said,
"We'll see you.
We'll see y'all again."
Yeah.
Now, they don't play again in the regular season, so Prescott's calling his shot. They're going to the playoffs. Prescott's calling his shot right now. We're going to the playoffs. We'll beat the Buccaneers in the playoffs. We'll get our revenge. And we're advancing forward.
Yeah. And I mean,
I don't think you are, but
I think they could. I mean,
they could.
Skill position-wise, they're pretty even.
They could, but no.
You're right, it's Tom Brady. We know how this goes.
First of all, yes, it's Tom Brady. Second of all, I think Dallas has more holes than people care to admit.
Oh, their defense is pretty rough. Still.
For example.
But, I mean, Tampa Bay's defense, granted it's week 1, but they have a great defense. They did not look that... I mean, now, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Ezekiel Elliott.
Is Ezekiel Elliott going to be one of those holes? Is he going to be a problem? Like, he better not drop off now that he got paid.
And I mean, I was telling all my friends he's a fantasy bust this year. He was last year. He was this year, and
fantasy. You want run CMC for fantasy?
Yeah,
he's going number 1 in every league.
Yeah, but I mean, I had an option. It was either Nick Chubb, Austin Eckler, or Zeke.
We asked the question not that long ago. We said Prescott, comeback player of the year. Who else is even close? Run CMC could be close. Christian McCaffrey had that season-ending injury last year.
And he had a great game last week.
McCaffrey and Prescott are the 2 front runners for comeback player of the year.
Yeah. I'm definitely giving week 1 to Dak, though, over CMC. Yeah. But CMC is one of those guys that can catch the ball and run the ball for 1,000 yards. He is an
era-transcending talent.
Yeah.
Generational talent.
He's somebody you just want to get the ball in their hands.
McCaffrey is one of only 3 running backs in NFL history to record 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards in one season. Yeah. The other 2 are Roger Craig and Marshall Faulk. One of those guys is in the Hall of Fame. The other should be.
Yeah.
If Craig hadn't gotten in by now, I don't think he's getting in at all, but he's got a very strong case.
Yeah.
But moving on from the feel-good story that was Dak Prescott's week 1, we have the not-so-feel-good story of Aaron Rodgers week 1. Now, before we get into the game that you were actually attended.
I attended that game.
Before we get into that, we'll quickly recap everything that happened during the offseason with Aaron Rodgers. And it all starts with Jeopardy, of all things. Don't ask me why. But Aaron Rodgers hosted Jeopardy during the offseason. And then, after that, before the NFL draft, reports came out saying Aaron Rodgers wanted out of Green Bay.
Yep.
And it broke the internet. Everyone's like, what? Hold on, what? A bunch of teams were scrambling around like, could we maybe get Aaron Rodgers? Could we get Aaron Rodgers?
Denver was big in
Denver and San Francisco were the 2. Because Elway would love to have Aaron. If Elway could get Aaron, he'd finally have a quarterback he could look at and say, now this guy's like me.
Yeah.
Now he's better than you. But
But
Elway would finally be satisfied, and Denver would be a huge threat if they got Elway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they got Rodgers.
Yeah, but I mean, and the thing is I would be upset too. I mean, how many first-round picks were picked on skill position players?
We're getting into that. And then San Francisco was the other one because he's a Cali boy. He grew up just out in San Francisco or just outside of San Francisco. I think he grew up in Santa Fe or somewhere.
Super close.
So the Niners were his hometown team. That was the team that he grew up watching and wanting to play for. So that's why they were the other contenders. Now, Rodgers didn't go anywhere. First of all, you can't trade Aaron Rodgers. What on earth would you trade for Aaron Rodgers?
The value is insane.
The value is... It'd be like a Ricky Williams deal.
Yeah.
I'll give you my entire draft. Not enough.
No, I want more. I also want your
We also need players.
Yeah.
It would be a Herschel Walker kind of trade.
I mean, it's also just like what's going on in Houston. I mean, I've heard the asking price for Deshaun Watson is pretty steep.
The asking price starts at 3 draft picks, 2 first-rounders at the minimum.
Yeah.
That's where the negotiations start.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously Aaron Rodgers is more...
But, Watson's got some baggage. He's not going to...
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, Aaron Rodgers has less baggage. He's a more accomplished quarterback in his career, so the asking price for him must be astronomical. It's got to be. I mean, what do you feel like is an even trade for Aaron Rodgers? There's not a lot.
I don't know. Like, first up, right off the bat, I'm going to need a quarterback in return that's been to the Pro Bowl 8 times.
Good luck. Good luck finding those. There aren't a lot left.
Exactly. Like, I'm going to need a veteran, accomplished quarterback because we're not playing quarterback roulette. We're not going to do 5 years of Cleveland treatment after moving Aaron.
Good Lord.
And yeah, I'm going to need an entire draft like Ricky Williams. I'm going to need 10 players, like with Herschel Walker.
Yeah.
And those were running backs.
Yeah.
Who
were at the time basically on the wrong side of 30.
Well, now the Ricky Williams was
that was
coming
the
out.
Dolphins. Yeah, that was coming out of the draft. But
Ricky Williams, Mike Ditka traded the entire draft and picks from the following draft to move up and take Ricky Williams coming out of college.
Mm-hmm.
He was very good. He wasn't
run Ricky run.
He wasn't trade the house good. It wasn't bet your mortgage good, which is what Ditka did
basically.
But Rodgers he came out, it was announced that he was not happy with the organization. And at first, he was vilified.
Yeah.
He was absolutely vilified for it. He became public enemy number one amongst Green Bay fans. What the hell? Why are you doing this to us, Aaron? They turned on him quick. But now this was before we had all the information. This was before all the information came out. But everyone said, "Oh, he's being a prima donna quarterback. Look at the diva quarterback. It's a power play. Mm-hmm. It's a power play. He wants more money. This and that. Like he's on a power trip." And the Green Bay Packers organization thought this to be true.
Yeah.
So they offered Aaron a new... Now, Aaron had said, like, this is not about money. Look, this is not about money. Look, this is not about money. Everyone's like...
It's always about money. It's always about money.
No,
but it wasn't. I mean...
Green Bay offered Aaron Rodgers a new and restructured contract that would have made him the highest paid quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
Rodgers turned it down.
That's not what he wanted.
Proving that he's telling the truth, this is not about money.
No.
What it was about, Aaron Rodgers wanted to shine a light on all the infractions and miscarriages of justice that was going on within the Green Bay Packers organization. Now, first of all, they've not done a good job of, they've been using first-round draft picks on defensive players every single year.
Oh, they got a quarterback. That was their skill position, first-round pick, was a quarterback.
Yeah, 2 years ago, they draft a quarterback in the first round.
Jordan Love.
Now, Aaron Rodgers just wants, the offense let's build the offense up, make a Super Bowl run, get me some weapons.
Yeah.
Green Bay could have drafted Chase Claypool. He was available.
Yeah.
You could have drafted Chase Claypool, get him in there, pair him up with Devontae Adams, give Rodgers some targets. What they did instead was draft his successor. So instead of putting pieces in place
making your franchise quarterback
instead of doing win now mode, let's get some weapons and make a Super Bowl run. No, we're too busy trying to find your successor.
Yeah, successor. I mean, even in that playoff run when they could have went for it on fourth down, which Aaron Rodgers wanted, they kicked the field goal.
And Rodgers no, we can't kick a field goal. We're gonna kick a field goal and try to get the ball back. Screw that! Give me the ball.
Yeah, we're trying to stop Tom Brady with the ball last.
We're gonna kick a field goal and try to get the ball back.
That should work. Tom Brady's never
against Tom Brady.
Yeah, Tom Brady's never made people pay for having the ball last. Get out of here. I mean, the frustrations began way before people really initially thought. I mean, it was
under wraps.
Yeah.
And they did a very good job of keeping this under wraps. It was just boiling under the surface until it finally boiled over, and then people realized, it's been brewing for a long time.
Yeah.
And not only was he mad about the drafting,
mm-hmm.
he was mad about the way players were being treated in the organization. Mm-hmm. Now, he came out and said that a lot of players on their way out, players like Clay Matthews, John Kuhn, Jordy Nelson, just to name a few, Randall Cobb, they were not shown proper respect when they left the organization. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers feels like they were treated badly on the way out. It doesn't sit well with him. Now, I think a lot of these problems stem from Green Bay not having an owner.
Yeah, the fans technically own.
There's not a singular owner. Yeah, they are a community-owned franchise.
Yeah.
They have always been a community-owned franchise with a board of directors and a CEO, and they're literally structured like a business. All teams are a business, but they are literally
shaped
like a business. And I think a team needs to have an owner. They just need to have that one above
singular
all voice
person that says this is
like look at some of the greats. Al Davis, Jerry Jones. Say what you will about Jerry Jones.
Rob Kraft,
yeah. And Al Davis, when he was the owner of the Raiders, and if anybody wanted anything, they just go straight to Al.
Yeah.
Straight to Al.
Open door policy.
My door is always open for the Raiders.
Yeah. Raiders for the Raiders. Yeah.
How do they do it in Green Bay? Okay, so we're going to put it to a vote.
Yeah. We're going to bring it up with the board of directors and we'll have them.
How have they been so successful with that system? How the hell has that worked?
The success fringes on the quarterback, and when you've had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers for the last 20-something years as your quarterback, you're going to do good.
It's 15 years each, I believe, as starting quarterback. So you've had 30 years of Favre and Rodgers. Speaking of which, this year makes Aaron Rodgers the longest tenured Green Bay Packer of all time.
Crazy. Good for him.
Oh, you think he's happy about it? He said he loves the organization, and I believe that's true. He just doesn't like the way that it's run. He feels like people aren't treated like people. Mm-hmm. They're treated as assets or numbers. He doesn't like it.
Yeah, like employees, not like a...
And so Green Bay restructured his deal so that he had 1 year left. And they restructured it in a way that it makes it easier to trade him because of money. And they said, hey, let's one last year. Let's get it together. Let's try and make this work. One last year to fix up this little marriage before the messy divorce that everyone sees coming. Mm-hmm. So Aaron Rodgers came back for one last year.
Last dance. And you know what? Davante Adams posted a pretty suspicious post as well.
Because hey, if Aaron goes, everybody in Green Bay is like, hold up. I'm out.
Now, I don't know if that's telling of how Jordan Love has been in practice, or if it's just...
I'll tell you what's telling. When they didn't know whether or not Aaron Rodgers was going to play, people were saying he's going to sit out and he's going to sit out or he's going to retire and go host Jeopardy. I didn't believe that to be true. He's not retiring. He's got way too much. He's still got that fire burning in him. He's not retiring.
He still has some left in the tank.
He still has that fire. Yeah. But
I mean, for them to
when they didn't know if he was coming back, they said, well, Jordan Love is still a long ways away from being a starter. Then why did you draft him in the first round instead of getting Aaron a receiver like he wanted? Yeah. If I draft a quarterback in the first round, I don't expect them to be a long way away.
No, I expect them to be ready.
This is not 1971. This is 2021. Yeah. You draft someone in the first round, you expect them to play.
Yeah, regardless of position. You're my first round pick. It's a position of need. That's why I draft you. You're going to play. But
pretty much.
And he's getting the New England treatment that Tom Brady got. Tom Brady didn't have a first round skilled player at his disposal at all in New England.
Difference, though. Bill Belichick was able to take no-name players, get the best out of them. And he would just... if players were wet rags, Bill was just able to take that rag and squeeze every ounce of talent and production and productivity out of that rag.
Now, you could say the same thing, though, with Aaron Rodgers, though. Is Marquez Valdez-Scantling was a nobody, and now he's viewed as a decent receiver. Who else? Alan Lazard was off the Jaguars.
Was not good enough to play for Jacksonville,
but was great with Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers loves Lazard.
Jordy Nelson was a no-name at the time, and then Aaron Rodgers,
one of the best receivers Green Bay has ever had.
Davante Adams was a second-round pick out of Fresno State.
I like when some people are like, well, they didn't get him weapons. What about Davante? It was a second-round pick.
An
overachieving second-round pick.
Hella overachieving.
But a second-round pick nonetheless. Now, he'd be a first-rounder now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's the best wide receiver in the game.
In
right
hindsight,
now.
he'd be a first rounder.
Yeah, he's elite, but I mean, it's just he wanted people that were worth their value, and like you said, Claypool was available. I'm sure there was other people that we're not even mentioning right now that are elite at their position.
Claypool is just the one that I can think of off the top of my head that was available that fits a need.
Mm-hmm. And then their tight end right now, Robert Tonyan, was a nobody, and now he's viewed as one of the top 5 tight ends in the game. I mean,
not by me.
You can name 10 better.
I thought you said 5.
I said 5 to 10. He's in that range.
Okay, maybe
closer to 10. Closer to 10. Like maybe like 8 to 10. But he's still better than anybody the Jags have.
I can name 5 tight ends better. I can name 2 in New England right now.
Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith are very good. Very good. Very good. But Gronk, Kelsey, Kittle, Waller. Uh-oh. How many was that? Was that 5 already? 6?
6.
Ooh, good. Uh-oh. Who else is there, though? Did I say Gronk?
Yes, you did.
Okay, I said Gronk. But like I said, there's so many people that he's turned into men. Like
the Chargers tight end that they got the Chargers tight end this year is gonna have a big year in my opinion.
Jared Cook is really good. I like Jared Cook, who had benefited from Drew Brees in New Orleans.
Cook's in a good situation because Herbert likes throwing to the tight ends.
Herbert just likes to throw the ball. I love Herbert. I love
Herbert's awesome. Yeah. But back to Aaron.
Yeah.
So after this little agreement to come back for one more year, let's try and make it work for one more year for the kids.
Yeah.
And in the first game, Aaron Rodgers is actually accused of shaving points.
Get out of here.
They accuse Aaron Rodgers of throwing the game.
What does that do for Aaron? I'm mad, so I'm going to lose. No, he's a competitor. I don't think in any way you could try to make it make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. Why?
Because he essentially has he essentially has the ball in his court.
But what does him sucking in his final season do for him?
I don't know. Now, Aaron Rodgers against the New Orleans Saints was 15 of 28, 133 yards, threw 2 interceptions in just 3 attempts. Usually, Aaron can throw the ball 500 times without 150 times without an interception.
He had an under 40
He had a passer rating of 36.8.
Jesus.
Now, Aaron Rodgers has one of the highest, if not the highest, career passer rating of all time. You talk about some players dominate stats.
Yeah.
Rushing yards, Emmitt Smith dominated that stat. Sacks, Bruce Smith dominated that stat. Touchdowns, Peyton Manning, Favre, Brady,
Breeze.
But you want to talk about passer rating? That was Aaron Rodgers' stat.
Mm.
He has the highest passer rating career-wise of all time. It's not even close.
No.
He had the worst passer rating of his career in that game. 36.8. Now, if you were to take the ball and spike it on every play, just every single play,
you'd still have a higher passer rating.
You would have a passer rating of 39.6. That's if you took the ball and threw it straight at the ground, you would have a higher passer rating than Aaron Rodgers had playing against the Saints. The Packers were killed 38-3 in Jacksonville.
Yes.
Where Joey here was lucky enough to attend that game.
Lucky. Yeah. I was there as a Packer.
Tell me.
I was there as a Packer. Listen.
Tell us all about it, Joey.
Listen, I've never seen an Aaron Rodgers. I remember when Green Bay came to play Jacksonville, and Aaron Rodgers. It was the first time I had seen somebody considered one of the greats play, and I was mesmerized by the way he moved around in the pocket, the way he could keep a play alive, his touch, his throw, his velocity, everything. And then coming into this game, I was like, oh, sweet. You know, they're coming to Jacksonville. We get to see the Saints, and we get to see Aaron Rodgers.
You thought you were going to see Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. And you got Paul Crewe.
And I got the exact opposite of what I wanted. It was abysmal. It was hot. I mean, it was just they didn't score a touchdown. You know,
that's what surprises me. Like, and they didn't even score a touchdown.
No, and I mean, I just the part that really got me is I have Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones on my fantasy team, and they pooped the bed. Aaron Rodgers had 1.3 something points. 1.3. Are you kidding me? Aaron Jones had like 4 or 5 points. I mean, I was miserable. It was hot. I had to watch Jameis Winston absolutely ball out of his mind.
Yeah.
And it was just, as a Florida fan, that hurts. I know I'm not supposed to bring that into the NFL because, you know, sometimes...
Why not? I do it all the time.
But I do it too.
Anytime I see an Ohio State quarterback or Florida State quarterback in the NFL, I'm like...
I want you to be bad.
Interception! Exactly. Come on, defense!
That year that Jameis...
Put him on his ass!
Yeah, and you know, that year that Jameis threw like 30 picks, I was having the time of my life. I was eating W's. I was doing all of it.
I just don't like Jameis Winston in general. I don't like him at all. The eating dubs thing that he does, it's one of the stupidest things I've ever seen in my life.
I'm not gonna lie, the man's hilarious.
I can't take him seriously as a grown-ass man.
He's naturally hilarious.
I can't take him seriously. He's a man-child.
He was quoted after the game.
He's a man-child.
He was like, well, you know, my trainer said that we had to prepare, and he said, I don't know, but what he said, it worked. And I was just like cracking up.
I don't like Jameis Winston. I already did not like Jameis Winston, but I especially did not like him after he was at this like youth camp with Dak Prescott talking to these kids, and he said, "Look, I'm coming out. I'm training harder than anyone in this league. Ain't nobody in this league outworking me." Standing right next to him, Dak Prescott bouncing back from that right ankle compound fracture.
Yeah. But I mean, as a competitive guy,
and Winston, he looked at and said, "And look, I know this man standing next to me. I know what he's coming back from. I know how hard he's working the rehab. He ain't working harder than me, though." Shut up.
As a competitor, though, are you going to admit that?
Shut up.
But as a competitor, are you going to admit that somebody's outworking you? No, you don't want to admit that. You never.
But you said it in front of the man.
Yeah, that I would have done something about that.
He said it in front. It's not like he invoked Dak Prescott's name for no reason.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott is standing right there in the middle of the most grueling rehab imaginable, and you're saying, "I'm working harder than him."
It's a classic Jameis Winston line.
I know who I'm standing next to. I know what this man been through, what he's going through.
He had a bone out of his ankle. I'm still outworking him.
Yeah, a bone sticking out of his foot.
Yeah.
They had to put that back. He has to learn how to walk again, but he still ain't outworking me.
Damn straight.
Shut up, Jameis. Shut up, Jameis.
I agree. Hey, I just, you know, as a competitor, though, you're not going to be like, I mean, you know, he's outworking me.
You can't say that with Dak Prescott standing right there. Mm-hmm. He's standing right next to him.
Yeah.
If Dak Prescott hadn't been there, I would not have a problem with what Jameis Winston said. I have no problem with you saying, "Hey, I'm going to work harder than everyone else in the league." That's what every player should say. Yeah. I have no problem with that if Dak Prescott isn't there.
Right next
but when Dak Prescott is standing right there, and then you're even going to acknowledge that Dak Prescott is there.
He's right there.
And you're going to draw attention to what he is going through.
Yeah. It's rough. But, I mean, he balled out, didn't he? He outplayed Aaron Rodgers. He threw like 5 touchdowns, over 300-something yards. He had a great game. So maybe nobody is outworking Jameis Winston.
I still think Prescott had a better week.
That felt so bad to say.
I still think Prescott had a better week. Had a better week 1. Like, the Cowboys may have lost, but I think Prescott played better than Winston. The Saints were just firing on all cylinders in general.
I mean, the Saints, I think...
Now, look, Winston, I'm going to give him props. He balled out during the preseason. He came out guns blazing, launching that deep ball that New Orleans hadn't seen in 5 years because Drew Brees' arm was deteriorating.
Yeah. Marquez Callaway
had...
He had a great preseason.
Marquez Callaway was almost my preseason MVP.
Mm-hmm. He had a great preseason.
Not going to lie. He was in the running.
He has a great connection with Jameis. I will give them that. But, I mean, I want to see... I think that offense takes another step
Winston
up.
came out, and he earned that job from Taysom Hill, who I was rooting for. I very much wanted to see Taysom Hill get a starting job.
He's a gimmick. I don't like Taysom Hill. I
love Taysom Hill.
I don't.
He suffered 4 season near career-ending injuries in college. He's still playing right now.
Good for Taysom. He's not going to be my quarterback, though. I mean, I get he can do a lot. He's caught a pass touchdown. He's thrown a pass touchdown.
I trust Sean Payton. I trust Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Look, if who's Philly's new head coach, Nick Sirianni?
Yeah.
If Nick Sirianni's my head coach, then no, I'm not. I don't want Taysom Hill as my starter.
Yeah.
I'm not trusting that
well,
duo.
Now they have Brian Johnson, who was the offensive coordinator out of Florida, who's a quarterback guru out there in Philadelphia, and you see what he did with Jalen Hurts week 1. Yeah. I would see.
I'm just saying, like I think any quarterback is going to be successful under Sean Payton.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to see Taysom Hill get that rub. Mm. But Winston came out and he earned it.
He earned it.
He earned it.
Yeah. 100%.
And as a Florida fan, that kills me to say, as I sit here in my Kyle Trask jersey.
Yeah. It's, I mean, it is, that's life though. I mean, when you earn it, and then
he earned it.
He earned it, and he balled out against Green Bay. As much as it sucked watching that in the heat.
I just can't wait to watch him turn around, throw 4 interceptions. Like, there's the Jameis we all know.
That's the Jameis we know.
Sit your ass on that bench.
This Jameis right here,
What? What's happening? What's going on?
I love that Jameis.
That look of...
That's the Jameis I want to see week in and week out.
What? Look, he's looking at the Titantron. Oh, Jesus, I did that?
Oh, he's not on my team. He's wearing red.
Well, no, he got that. He had that LASIK eye surgery, so we're not. He had that eye surgery, so we're not going to see that Jameis anymore.
No, unfortunately.
But moving on from Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford,
baller. I mean, it's not like we didn't expect it. He's always been a baller. He was just in bum Detroit, I mean.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something. I have actually been singing the praises of Matthew Stafford for a very, very long time. Like the last 7, 8 years, I've been telling people, y'all are sleeping on Stafford.
Yeah. Great arm. Great quarterback.
Most people know Matthew Stafford as that quarterback in Detroit.
Nobody around him.
Numbers are okay.
He threw for
that dude in Detroit. Oh, he was the guy that threw the ball to Megatron, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I remember. But I mean, outside of
his career didn't end when Megatron retired. Just Matthew Stafford is one of the most disrespected quarterbacks in the entire league. And it's all because he's the quarterback for the Detroit Lions, who have been hot garbage since 1950?
Yeah, as long as I've been alive. They have been...
They have not fielded one good team since 1950.
Yeah, I mean...
Now you can say, didn't they make the playoffs? They fielded Barry Sanders. They have not fielded a good team. They fielded Barry Sanders. They have not fielded they fielded Stafford and Megatron with Ndamukong Suh on defense, but they have not fielded a good team
at all. I mean, it's just like, it's abysmal. I mean, I like the culture change they're going through now. They picked up Penei Sewell, DeAndre Swift. They're getting some pieces, but they're still a long way.
I think they took some steps backwards.
I mean, after the Stafford trade, they were clearly in rebuild mode.
They've been in rebuild mode for half a century.
Yeah, I don't get the Jared Goff acquisition.
They're still rebuilding from the Matt Millen era.
Yeah, I would never, ever. They're still... You remember Joey Harrington? Oh, Lord. They really thought that was their winner. That was like a number 2 overall pick. And he was in the league for what? 2 years? 3 years? Like...
Joey Harrington.
Ugh. But like I said,
I
love Dan Campbell's spirit.
I love Dan. MCDC, Motor City, Dan Campbell.
Yeah, I love Dan Campbell.
We're going to bite him at the ankles.
And then we're going to get up and bite him again.
We're going to chew their kneecaps out.
I love it. I love it. But, they just...
How you going to stand up to us after we chew your kneecaps off?
Yeah, I love that.
We're going to chew off their kneecaps. Biting kneecaps.
He's electric. He's
awesome. It's a living bottle of Red Bull is what he is.
Yeah.
But now, Matthew Stafford... I would take it back to high school here for a second. I was talking to a very good friend of mine, a friend from Ohio that I told you about, Steven. And we were talking about best quarterbacks in the league. And I had mentioned Stafford as probably like a top 5 or top 10 or something like that. And he was like, really? Stafford? No. I'm like, hey, look up the numbers. Stafford has been great during his career, all right? He had 5,000 passing yards in, I forget what year it was. It was the year that Megatron had 1,900 receiving yards.
Yeah. Probably like.
But at the time, Matthew Stafford was only like the 5th quarterback ever to throw for 5,000 yards.
Yeah.
And a little while later, he had told me, hey, I looked up Stafford's numbers. You're right, I've been sleeping on him. Yeah. I did not realize he had been that productive.
Yeah. I mean, it's not his fault he was stuck in Detroit.
He gets no recognition because it's in Detroit. Here's how good Stafford is. Aaron Rodgers came out and said during the offseason, look, everyone talks about how great Mahomes is and those no-look passes and everything Mahomes does. There's a guy in Detroit that's been doing that for about 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I hope people would remember, but there was a time where he was dislocated his shoulder. Came back.
Dude, that is one of my favorite... Not just Stafford stories. One of my favorite football stories ever is that year the Lions are playing against the Browns. And Stafford gets hit by, I think it was C.J. Mosley. And the Browns quarterback at the time was Brady Quinn. Who played the best game of his career in that game.
Yeah.
Like, Stafford and Quinn combined for like 700 or 800 yards in that game.
Yeah. That was insane. But
now, if I say, hey, Brady Quinn and another quarterback combined for 800 yards, you're thinking, so the other quarterback had 550 yards?
Yeah. No, if you tell me Brady Quinn and another quarterback combined for 800 yards.
I think it was 700. Actually.
Yeah, well, then I'm going to give the other 700 to the other quarterback. Brady Quinn might have topped 100, but... he's on there with Notre Dame bust, Jimmy Clausen, all those guys. But like you said, Stafford has been
in the game. But in the game, though, the Lions, they're trailing. It's the end of the game. Final second. Stafford throws a pass. It gets drilled by C.J. Mosley. He just gets drilled right into the ground. Lands on his shoulder. Dislocated shoulder.
Yeah.
There's an injury timeout. There's only time on the clock for like one more play.
Yeah.
Stafford is brought out of the game, and Stafford, they just like pop it back in. It's hanging, like you can see him standing there.
He's clearly just...
He is very clear, and he was mic'd up for this game, which makes it all the better. And you can just hear him just wincing and groaning the agony this man is in. And then he's like, hold on, that's a timeout, right? That's a timeout. I can still play. And he's pushing doctors and trainers away from him. He's pushing them away. Yeah. He's like making his way to the coach. Hey, I can throw the ball if you need me to throw the ball. I can throw the ball.
Yeah.
And they're like, don't know about that. I can throw the ball. So they send Stafford back out there. Dislocated shoulder and all. Now, thankfully, it wasn't his throwing arm.
Yeah, it was his left one.
Imagine if it had been his throwing arm. That would make this the greatest story of all time.
Yeah, agreed.
He goes out there. He takes, for one last play, with his dislocated shoulder, and he takes a snap. He throws the game-winning pass. And then as soon as he throws the ball, you just see him just like let go. It's, oh, God.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
and the
pure agony.
And it's caught, touchdown, Lions win. And he's running up,
People are running up on him, trying to high five him and shoulder bump him.
They're doing that, patting him on the helmet, like, way to go, boy. It's like, hey,
get the off me.
That arm is not in the socket. Stop touching me.
This thing is hanging by a thread.
Do you not see?
Please, back off.
And he's like, yes. What about the game, like the Lions and the Cowboys? The fake spike.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I know if I say fake spike, the first game that most people would think of is Dan Marino's fake spike against the Jets.
Yeah.
I'm younger. When I hear fake spike, I think of Stafford. Clock it! He was mic'd for this game, too.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Lions, Cowboys, and it was a back and forth game. I think Romo was the quarterback for the Cowboys at the time. And it was like one of those games, like 44-40, something like that. And they were just going back and forth. The final drive, last seconds of the game, Lions passed down to the 1 yard line. And Stafford is yelling, clock it! He's telling everyone, we're going to line up, we're going to spike the ball, stop the clock, and run one last play.
Mm-hmm.
He's yelling, clock it! His voice is breaking. Yeah. Clock it! He's screaming at the top of his lungs. He's jumping up and down. Clock it!
Oh yeah, he's going nuts.
He's like, if you don't get your ass in position, Stafford's gonna have a heart attack.
Oh, yeah.
He's gonna go into cardiac arrest.
I mean, you should hear
clock it. And they get up to the line, and he takes a snap, and instead of spiking the ball, he looks up, notices the defense isn't fully in position, and just on a whim, on instinct, takes matters into his own hands, jumps over the line. Defense isn't ready. Offensive line's not even blocking because they are expecting him to just spike the ball.
Yeah.
The ball snapped, everyone just kind of stands up because they think that it's
spiked, dead. Yeah.
They think that it's clock it.
Yeah.
And Stafford's like, it's an opening, goes over the top.
Touchdown.
And then comes back on his feet, runs back around the line into the end zone. And they reviewed it several times, like, did he get it? And I'm thinking, what difference does it make? Because he ran in a second time.
Yeah.
His knees never hit the ground.
Nope.
What are you replaying?
Yeah.
It was one of the greatest things I've ever seen in football.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I agree.
Clock it! Now, the Lions traded Matthew Stafford to the Los Angeles Rams for Jared Goff and 2 first-round draft picks. And in that, they traded away the best quarterback that they have ever had, the face of the franchise.
Yeah.
Him or Barry.
You could put,
I mean, Barry is the Hall of Famer.
Yeah. I mean, I have Calvin Johnson on my Mount Rushmore of Lions players, but he's nowhere near what Stafford did to the organization.
But I don't think anyone since Barry has meant as much to the Lions as Matthew Stafford. And
Calvin just didn't play enough. He could have been what Barry was, but he just didn't play long enough. He retired after 8, 9 years?
He retired after 8 years.
Yeah,
so did Cam Chancellor. So did
Kuechly retired really young.
Kuechly. That was a shocker to me.
I was shocked.
It's like, what? No. Mm-hmm. You're the greatest linebacker of your generation. Yeah. What are you doing? You get your ass back on that field. But Stafford, for anybody listening who's still not completely sold on the flat-out gamer that this man was.
Oh, yeah.
Over his career, 156 I'm reading the wrong thing. Over his career in Detroit, his record was 74, 90, and 1. And that's what most people look at. It's like, that's not a good win-loss record. For a Lions quarterback, that's a pretty good win-loss record.
For a Lions quarterback, that's as good as it gets.
Now that would not fly in Pittsburgh.
No.
But, Stafford would have been much more successful if he had been somewhere like in Pittsburgh. Yeah. But now that record would not fly for a franchise quarterback in Pittsburgh. But for Detroit,
That's parade worthy.
That might as well be 90 and 74.
Yeah, that's a parade.
I might as well take that tie out of there. That might as well be 91 and 74. He engineered 31 fourth-quarter comebacks. He had 8 in 1 year. A couple years ago, the Lions went 9 and 7, and 8 of their 9 wins were fourth-quarter comebacks. And I remember that because I was writing for the school paper at the time, and I was covering the Lions for a couple of times.
Cardiac cats.
It was crazy. His career passer rating in Detroit was 89.9. He threw for over 45,000 yards. And just to show how underappreciated, undervalued, and overlooked this man was, he has 1 Pro Bowl.
45,000 yards, 1 Pro Bowl. That's crazy.
31 fourth-quarter comebacks,
That's
1 Pro Bowl.
crazy.
A 5,000-yard passing season, and that was not even his Pro Bowl season.
Wow.
Yeah, that one 5,000-yard season, that wasn't even his Pro Bowl season. So at the very minimum, he should have 2.
Yeah.
Honestly, he's good enough to have been a 6-7-time Pro Bowler. He was drafted in 09.
09 out of Georgia. Yeah.
After he was the Lions' reward for going 0-16 in 2008. And look, Stafford has done everything you could possibly ask from a quarterback.
Yeah.
And I don't like it bothers me. It bothers me that people just sleep on Stafford consistently. They don't think he's as good as he really is. And Stafford's not one of those guys that comes out and tells you how good he is. He's not an all eyes on me guy. He's a team player. He's a quiet, reserved leader.
Yeah.
He's got a fiery intensity in him.
Oh, yeah, he's a gamer.
But that's only on the field.
Yeah.
That's only on the field. He's a quiet leader the rest of the way.
Mm-hmm. Fun fact, he went to high school with Clayton Kershaw. They were on the same
they were.
childhood teams growing up.
They were.
Pretty cool.
Another fun fact, I believe he grew up on the same street as Bobby Lane. And Bobby Lane, for those of you who don't know, was the Lions quarterback in the 40s or 50s, won 3 NFL championships with the Detroit Lions, was traded to Pittsburgh because he was
you can say it.
He was a Johnny Manziel. Not to the full extent. He was a heavy drinker. He was a partier. It was a different time.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, you know what? You know what? Johnny Manziel's a stretch. He was a Ken Stabler.
I mean, back in those days, the quarterbacks were smoking cigarettes and drinking a beer at halftime. You know?
Yeah, while linebackers were injecting steroids into their.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was the workout regimen. But calling him a Johnny Manziel is a bit much. So he was like Ken Stabler.
Yeah.
He drank a lot. He partied a lot. And Ken Stabler always said, well, how much sleep you really need to go play 3 hours? Come on.
Oh, yeah, the game has changed so much from back then. You're right. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, but... So Bobby Lane was traded from Detroit to Pittsburgh. He was not happy about being traded. And on his way out, he said this team will never win again for 50 years. It was a curse of Bobby Lane. And during that 50-year span, the Lions only made the playoffs like 1 or 2 times.
A handful of times, yeah.
They had 1 playoff win in 50 years. Thank you, Barry. Okay. And during that 50 years, they did not have 1 notable quarterback. Not one quarterback in 50 years ever made the Pro Bowl. And the curse of Bobby Lane was set to expire in 2008. That was supposed to be the last year. Everyone thought, oh, this is great. That 50-year curse is over with. Now we're going to win.
As if curses actually followed what they say, like 50 years, okay.
I think Bobby's like, 50 years was an estimate.
Yeah, I meant 100. I mean, they're just
100 seemed too much.
Look at what the Cubs had to go through.
I didn't think y'all would still be around in 50 years after blackballing me like that. disrespecting me the way you have.
Yeah.
You deserve this. Tom Brady should have said that to New England. Tom Brady should have said that to New England on his way out.
Yeah, right. Nope, you're never going to win again. No.
But no, so the final year of the curse was 2008, and that's when they went 0-16. So everyone's like, okay, this is the last year.
Yeah,
we're going to be good now. No, they go 0-8. They go 0-16.
Yeah. Well, and then they get Matthew Stafford. And
curse is broken.
So you thought. I mean, hey, 74-90, that sounds like a broken curse to me.
Only Pro Bowl quarterback they've had ever. I don't even think there was a Pro Bowl during.
Not back then.
I think.
No. I don't think since the merger, before the merger, there was no.
So Stafford's the only Pro Bowl quarterback the Lions have ever had, and he only made it to one.
Yeah.
And everyone, I was one of those people that said when Stafford got traded to the Rams with that offense and Sean McVay at head coach, y'all are about to see how good Matthew Stafford is. And they did.
Yeah.
Stafford, his first game as a Ram is against the Bears, who he played twice a year in the same division.
Yeah. They already knew.
The Bears are like, hold on, we already know about this guy, all right?
Now he's with an actual good coach and good team around him.
It's like, shit. Oh, great. Remember how we always said, thank God Stafford don't have an actual team? He got a team now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, boy. So in his first game as a Ram, the Rams win 34-14. His passer rating is 156.1, completes 20 of 26 passes, 321 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions.
0 picks. That's right. 0 picks. Yeah. Crazy.
So, in case you haven't got the message, stop sleeping on your boy.
He is #very good at football. Very good.
And our final topic today, Chandler Jones. You talk about somebody who ate on Sunday. Chandler Jones, when the Cardinals played the Titans, the Cardinals won 38-13. He had 6 tackles, 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles.
I want to say he had 3 or 4 in the first quarter.
I think he did have 3 in the first quarter.
Insane.
5 sacks in one game.
Yeah. And I hope people already know.
If your offensive line gives up 5 sacks in general, coach is already pissed off.
Yeah.
Everybody's running gassers.
Yeah.
But when you give up 5 sacks to one guy.
Yeah. Now, granted, this isn't just some random guy that's been having a good game. No, Chandler Jones has probably the most sacks in the NFL since he's been drafted. I think
Chandler Jones has had 18 or 19 plus sacks in each of the last 4 years.
The man is ridiculous. I mean, you look at his bloodline, too. He's related to former UFC GOAT John Jones. So, I mean, clearly, there's, from an athletic standpoint, he's already
a mean bloodline.
Yeah.
You do not cross the Joneses.
No. I mean, John Jones has said that Chandler Jones could probably beat him in a fight. And that's saying something. That is saying something. I mean, Chandler Jones is, I don't think he could. John Jones is the greatest of all time in this sport. But Chandler is a freak. Who do you have over John Jones?
I'd have to think about it for a minute.
Okay.
I'm sure
we'll get back to that. But I mean,
we'll discuss that at another time.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll channel that for next week. Next week when we do this, I'll have my answer.
No problem.
We'll get into that discussion. I'm going to make note of that right now.
Yeah.
But Chandler Jones, honestly, he could have gotten the record for most sacks in a game. The record for most sacks in a game is 7 sacks in one game by Derek Thomas, the late, great Derek Thomas.
Tampa Bay Buck. Yep.
Chief.
Who am I thinking of?
You're thinking of Derek Brooks.
Derek Brooks, that's right. And, I mean, it's just for him to have 3 in 1 quarter.
3 in 1 quarter put him on pace to beat the record of 7.
I mean, that's a career day for anybody.
I kind of thought 3 sacks in the first quarter, he might break Derek Thomas's record.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd ever see anybody beat DT's record.
No, but I mean, 5 sacks, that's insane. I mean, Taylor Lewan must have been getting, the
Taylor Lewan went to Twitter after the game and said, I make no excuses. I got my ass kicked today.
I want to know how the film session went when they watched the film.
Taylor Lewan said, hey, I got my ass kicked. Yeah. No lies, no excuses, just straight up ass whooping. I apologize to my team. I apologize to the fan base. I apologize to the organization. I promise I will be better. And Taylor Lewan's not a pushover.
No,
Taylor Lewan's one. I'm not going to say he's the best offensive lineman in the league. No, he's one of the best offensive linemen in the league.
Yeah.
He's no joke. He's no pushover. He's a big old country strong boy.
Chandler Jones pushed him over. He took him behind the woodshed.
But where was the adjustments? You see this man getting beat play after play after play after play after play after play after play.
Yeah. Are you going to double team him and then leave J.J. Watt on an island with somebody?
I'd rather take my chances with an aging, deteriorating J.J. Watt than in his prime, seeing red, raging bull Chandler Jones, who evidently could beat John Bones Jones in a fight.
I don't buy it, but I'm just telling you what John said, man. That Chandler is no pushover.
It's like John is probably like, he could probably beat me in a fight. Later on, he sees Chandler. Don't try it.
Yeah, don't try it. I'm just giving you some clout.
I'm showing you love, but
don't try me. Don't try me.
Hey, you want to do it officially? I go get the gloves, or
no.
But so Chandler Jones might win Defensive Player of the Year if he keeps playing like this. It's only been one game, but.
If you're
I think he just became the front runner. But why are you not making any adjustments on the offensive line? It's like when LT would beat, not LT, it's like when Michael Strahan would beat John Runyon on every single down during the Giants-Eagles rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
And they did not help John Runyon at all. It wasn't John Runyon. It was somebody else. I forget his name. But there was one game where Strahan was just beating the guy across from him.
Was that his 22.5 sack season?
I believe so.
Yeah. I mean, it was on a mission.
The one where Favre handed him the record.
Mm-hmm. So nice. So nice and Brett.
I'm not taking anything away from Strahan's season. Strahan had a great season, but Favre gave himself up.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not gonna diminish Strahan or take anything away from Strahan. Got there.
Yeah.
Hey, if Favre hadn't.
I mean, if Michael Strahan's running towards me, am I going to take the hit or am I going to fall and let you get the sack?
Look, if Favre hadn't dropped down, Strahan still would have gotten him.
Wow.
Look, Favre had an option. Okay. I can take some flack for I'm going to take flack for this later, but I can just slide down and save myself. Or
live to see another. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I wasn't ready for that. Oh my God. Yes, but you're right. You're right, 100%. I mean, you can either live to see another down or get buried and start pushing flowers.
That's how you end up on Bishop Sycamore, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right.
Look, that is what is known in professional sports as a business decision.
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
That's what's known as a business decision. And that concludes this week's edition of Sports Done Right. Thank you all for watching. I've been Hunter Wright. This has been Joey.
Bang, bang, bang.
And we hope to see you next week.
That's right.
Same place, same time. Thanks for watching.
Sports Done Right with Hunter Wright.
You gotta work on that song.
I know. We'll get there.
All right. Thank you very much.